either tying it up or getting a lead, but it just didn't happen. 5-3, Mets won it. A short 2-game set, so you come right back at it. A playoff berth is what's in question. Mets, Orioles, Game 2 now. It's the Orioles on Masson, and we welcome you back to Birdland here at Camden Yards. The New York Mets in town. The short 2-game set will conclude after a 5-3 loss for the Orioles last night. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome for the Orioles. A tough one. Those runs we keep talking about that come late in a ball game that are often referred to as tack-on runs, they generally are not. They're important runs, as important as any scored in the game, and they certainly were last night, because the Mets were able to get a couple in the ninth inning, and as a result, the 2-run differential, that's where it came from. We talked a little bit last night during the ball game about the Orioles' management of their bullpen. Buck Showalter and company do it better probably than anybody else in baseball. We thought we'd get into that a little bit before the ball game tonight. Take a look at the numbers. Here's what's happened with the Orioles as far as their pen is concerned. Innings pitched, 7th most. Probably doesn't surprise you. Total appearances, though, is the second fewest. Why? Because the number of appearances where they go more than one inning is the most in the league. Appearances with 0 days rest is the fewest. The bullpen runs per game is third best at 1.03. The bullpen WAR second highest. That is very good bullpen management. Contradictory to what you see. Who takes the burden of that deep in ball games? You'd expect Britton, the closer, to do that. He does. O'Day's the man who sets him up, and Brad Brock has become, as far as that measurement's concerned, the third most important. Mike, managing the bullpen is really going to matter down the stretch for the Orioles.
Well, it sure does, and I'll tell you what, it's managed, or what Buck's done up to this point has been probably the most impressive job I've ever seen. Remember, back at the start of the season, Buck's hands were tied in that bullpen. Nobody had options. So if there was a blowout game and the bullpen started getting overused, I mean, there was really panic in the month of April. How are they going to make it through this season? There were some unfortunate injuries, and then a trade with Webb. He went off to the Dodgers, so that opened up some space, and you saw some younger pitchers come up. But therein lies another problem. You do not want to put young pitchers into these high-leverage situations, especially a team that's had so much success like the Orioles have had. So, Buck has had to walk that spine line, finding these optimum, situations for his bullpen, his relievers, understanding what his starters are going to do on a daily basis, realizing he doesn't have a real true number one that you can count on to go out there and get 8 innings every time he steps on the hill to keep the bullpen fresh. So it's got to be done with Buck Showalter, pitching coach Dave Wallace, and Dom Chidi. Every day they meet, they go over the innings that have been pitched. Who's pitched the most during the week? How many pitches did they throw? How it all lines up. I mean, they do this 2 weeks in advance to keep things in line, just to see success in certain stadiums, ballparks, different matchups, and they try to coordinate it and get the most out of them. Well, the bullpen's been outstanding. They love the fact that Buck does not get these guys up and down, which most bullpen arms get upset about. So Buck's done a great job. He's really learned so much through his managing career, and this bullpen has really been a key to their success of the past 4 years.
And it will be for the remainder of the season. If they're going to find a playoff spot, it'll get easier September 1st when they get the call-ups. Tonight, the T-shirt's being given up that shows how to do this. If you practice it, you'll be just like them. Maybe. And is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by your local Mercedes dealership. Big crowd on hand for game number 2. Take a look at our BGE home game time temperature. We are at 85 degrees, humidity 53, not much of a breeze at all at the ballpark. BGE Home, Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? And the lineup tonight for the Mets, it'll be Granderson, Murphy, and Cespedes, Duda, Uribe, DeArnott, Conforto, Flores, and Lagares will make a start. Number of changes in there. You see Duda this month. He's their big home run bat, and it's working.
And let's take a look at Ubaldo Jimenez's pitch arsenal this season. The fastball at 63%. Really jumped up that two-seam fastball, pounding it to the bottom of the zone. Much more efficient with his pitch count. Breaking ball has the curveball and the slider, the changeup, the nasty split finger. Hence the 122 strikeouts. When he can get ahead and go to that split finger, he can be a dominant pitcher. 3.92 earned run average. Going for his 10th win tonight, holding opponents down to a 255 batting average. Pretty even with ground ball, fly ball rates. Opponents have hit 15 home runs off Ubaldo. He does pitch very well here in his home ballpark. 6-2 with a 3.20 earned run average in 10 Camden starts.
So you got Ubaldo who pitches really well at home against an opponent who hasn't won a game on the road. And you got two pitchers who give up the most runs in the first inning. So something's got to give, as we say. And we're ready to go. Granderson is at the plate. Pitch to him will be taken inside for a ball. Curtis Granderson, 2 home runs in the ball game last night, including a leadoff home run, his 7th leadoff homer of the year. Leads the majors. That one into the shift goes to Davis. He's out of there. 2 pitches and an out.
Well, let's take a look at the best defense in baseball. Urrutia, Jones, and Parra in the Orioles outfield. Hardy and Scope up the middle. Machado and Davis on the corners, and Caleb Joseph getting the start tonight behind the plate.
Talked about those first inning woes for Ubaldo Jimenez, who will face Daniel Murphy. He has surrendered at least 1 run in each of the first innings of 4 of the last 6 starts. He's given up 13 first inning runs on the season, and that's the most he has surrendered in any inning that he has pitched. So trying to get through that first one means a lot to Ubaldo. Murphy at 2 for 4 in the ball game last night will go off the fist with that one and out of play.
Yeah, I think this first inning is important to everybody on the field. I mean, if they feel like Ubaldo can get through here and be confident coming out of this inning, everybody feels good. Like, oh, okay, Baldo's got his stuff. It's working for him tonight. And it's a nice, relaxing, confident feeling, I think, for this whole team.
0-2 delivery on the way. Murphy, a 1 for 8 lifetime against Jimenez. With all the years pitched in the National League by Ubaldo, a number of these Met hitters have had a chance to see the Orioles' 31-year-old right-hander. 1-2 delivery on the way. Murphy gets that one down the line in right field. It is back, and goodbye home run. Well, he didn't get through the first inning. Murphy delivers the long ball. It was Granderson in the first last night, and it's Murphy tonight, and a 1-0 Mets lead.
A pretty impressive swing right there. Murphy got a couple doubles in yesterday's ball game. Somehow able to get the bat head to this pitch. Hard slider, maybe cutter, working in on the hands and off the plate. He can get on the side of the baseball. That's a good 2 inches off the plate and just pulls the hands inside. So close, he's got to let go with the top hand. And it's out into the flagpole.
Infield moves around on Cespedes, so Murphy gets the home run, his 9th of the year, his 46th RBI of the season. And for Murphy, that'll be the first home run he's ever had against the Orioles. He's always hit well against them and never had a homer. For Jimenez, he gives up his 16th home run, and of those, 10 have been hit by left-handers. Cespedes had an 0 for 4 in the ballgame last night. He's the designated hitter. 3 for 10 with a homer off Jimenez. And the pitch will be taken down low for a ball. Well, this is a Mets team that, despite their woes in scoring runs, they have put up a lot of home runs. 6th in the National League. 1-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be in the dirt.
Well, they certainly have enough guys with power. Of course, Duda went on an incredible tear, 93 miles an hour off the bat of Murphy for that home run. Granderson up into he picked up his 22nd in last night's ball game. He had 2 home runs. So there is power, and now the added dimension of Cespedes in this lineup and a couple other veteran hitters. It could be a dangerous team.
Yeah.
You talk about their pitching as well.
And that one just missed, and the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes against New York. The ball was 2-4. This is his 8th career start against the Mets. Chopper down. Could well be a base hit. It is. Manny's going to put that one in his back pocket. Cespedes with that speed, no way you're going to get him. It's an infield single.
Yeah, Cespedes runs very well. Manny Machado obviously has to respect the power. So back a little bit there. Nice pitch by Baldo. Good 2-seamer. Cespedes just getting on top of that ball and puts it in a place where, believe it or not, Manny Machado cannot make a play.
So a couple of hits here in the inning after the first out was recorded, and here is another home run hitter. Duda coming up. He had a 1 for 5 in the ball game last night. 21 home runs on the season for Duda. As Mike said, Curtis Granderson now has got 22. Big home run cut right there. And Duda right behind him for the home run lead for the Mets. So the Mets on top. They've won 9 straight games against the Orioles. And that is a long winning record that goes back to 2010. 0-1 delivery and a swing and a miss and a good breaking ball that cut in on him.
Yeah, real nice pitch there. Jimenez has the big curveball, 75 miles an hour. We've seen him throw the slider, the one Murphy deposited up in the flag court, but he's got to have a good mix of pitches. He's got to be able to get ahead and then work those secondary pitches, and talk about his strikeouts with that split finger.
Dude is 0 for 2 off him. The other thing both these pitchers have in common, runners have run against Ubaldo this season. 17 out of 19 stolen bases. Syndergaard on the other side, 12 out of 13 stolen bases. So both pitchers may do a lot of this if runners get on tonight.
Well, I think pick their moments. Obviously, both teams want to be aggressive early in ball games. Baltimore doesn't typically run very much, but if there are opportunities there, Buck Showalter will definitely give them the green and go. Wayne Kirby always in the ear, the runners at first base. So yeah, both teams need to keep pushing the envelope. If there are opportunities, they will certainly take them, but they're not going to take risky ones and run into outs.
Pitch taken inside and a 1-ball 2-strike count on Duda. Left-handers with a home run advantage. There goes the runner. Pitch taken, throw down. Caleb's right there, but not in time, and he stayed on the bag. So Cespedes is now 3 for 3 since joining the Mets and stealing bases.
Well, with the 2 strikes and only the 1 ball on Duda, Cespedes probably thinking about an off-speed pitch. But Jimenez just slows down, makes sure he throws a strike, throws on the money. A little slower to home plate, gives him an opportunity to get in there safely.
So Duda, strikeout victim, second out of the inning. Now Uribe. Uribe coming up. Did not have an at-bat in the ball game last night. Buck Showalter was checking to see whether he wanted to challenge the call at second base. And will not here. And that'll bring up a veteran. Juan Uribe, recently acquired, had some offense and veteran play to this team. This is where the Mets have got an 0 for going. They were 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position last night. They were 0 for 16 in the previous 3 games against Pittsburgh. So Terry Collins Ball Club now is 0 for their last 22 with runners in scoring position. They've got one out there at second base for Uribe. Pitch on the way, and Uribe will take a breaking ball. It's going to miss outside, and that'll take the count to 2-0. Now Tom Woodring, who's the home plate umpire, his strike zone historically has been pretty by the book. If there's any advantage, it'll go to the hitter a little, but not to any great degree. However, it looked like early on here, hitters a little advantage on some of the calls, although these aren't close. 3-0.
Yeah, certainly with the open base, Ubaldo being careful with Uribe. The veteran hitter certainly knows what to look for in these type of situations. He does not get cheated at the plate. Very aggressive swinger.
3-0 pitch is taken for a strike. Uribe's gone 5 for 14 in his at-bats against Ubaldo Jimenez. That's more hits than any other Met in the lineup tonight. Uribe acquired by the Mets along with Kelly Johnson, who played second last night. They came over from Atlanta on July 24, and that's going to be way outside. So the first walk surrendered. Will put runners at first and second with 2 down.
One thing really Ubaldo's been good at all year long is minimizing those walks, those extra opportunities. Working on the lowest walk rate of his career, below 3 right now.
The DeArnett coming up, did the catching in the ball game last night, had an 0 for 3 in the game. Yano's got a .233 batting average here in the month of August. A couple of home runs. Ground ball will go to short. Hardy on his birthday will get an assist. And that will retire the side. A run in on a couple of hits. 2 are left on base. Orioles get an at-bat, down 1-0. In the air and is trying to catch in her mouth. Not sure which. Take a look at the old starting lineup brought to you by Southwest. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Machado, Power, and Jones, Davis, Scope, and Clevenger, Hardy, Henry, Urrutia. Another start in left field. Caleb Joseph back behind the plate. Joseph, a red-hot month of August.
And here's a look at Noah Syndergaard's pitch arsenal this season. The fastball 65% of the time. You are not going to see anymore with the velocity that he can carry, 96 to 100 miles an hour. Breaking ball has the curveball and the slider, and the change, the straight change. Noah Syndergaard, 17 starts this year, has 7 wins on the season with 307 earned run average, 111 strikeouts, just 24 walks in 105 2/3 innings pitched. So this rookie is establishing himself early, holding opponents down to a .232 batting average. Has given up 11 home runs, 8 of those home runs to righties, and he has given up 5 home runs in his last 3 starts.
He's only 22 years old, and after his 8th win, part of this tremendous rotation that the Mets already have, and which they will have for some time to come, with 6 or 7 quality pitchers. And first ball hit by Manny Machado is going to be a base hit into the gap. It's going to roll to the wall. Played out there by Lagares, and that's going to be a double, and Machado starts it out with a 2-bagger on the first pitch.
Pretty solid approach right there. Manny Machado picking up his 25th double to go along with his 25 home runs. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, quality pitch on the outside corner that Machado stays on and drives to right center. Pretty impressive stuff there. A lot of times when hitters gear up for that first pitch, they're looking to turn and burn. Manny stays true and driving it to the right center gap.
So the Orioles get a chance to get that run back in a hurry. Parr's got a 5-game hit streak coming in. He has really been tearing it up for the Orioles. Syndergaard will take the look back. He'll be held close by Flores, the shortstop, at second base. Bunted. trying to push it down to third base to get it to Uribe. Let's take a look at our American Standard, who's hot and who's not.
Well, Parra is hot. 5-game hitting streak, 478 here on this homestand with 3 home runs and 5 RBIs. Denard, not so hot. Last 5 games, 125, 5 punch-outs.
And you can celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. See if Parra can pick up the RBI. He's 2 for 11 with the Orioles in these situations. The O's had a 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position last night. They remain number 2 in the American League with a 285 overall average. Winner last night, DeGrom, was outstanding. A run on 5 hits, 7 2/3. 0-1 the count. That ball's a base hit into left field. And Fardo up, runner will be held. Throw to third. Manny diving, gets back in as Uribe, and he went for the bag. Pretty close play on a quick up and in from the outfield from Conforto.
A beautiful piece of hitting. Here's a backdoor breaking ball that Parra stays on, drives it to left field, but Conforto coming in quickly, forcing Bobby Dickerson. Put the hands up. Machado getting back just in time. He's hustling, thinking about scoring. Turns the head just in time to see Uribe busting back to third base. Nice play right there. And then safely and put the pressure on. And that's here with no outs.
So runners at first and third for Adam Jones and the Orioles. As we said, doing it against a pitcher who has struggles in the first inning. He has given up at least a run in the first inning each of his last 3 and in 4 of his last 7 starts. And the Orioles look like they're going to add to that number. Adam Jones' job now, get that runner in from third at least, and the pitch will be taken outside. Adam had an offer in the ball game last night during the homestand. He's hot. He has not had much luck against the Mets pitching. He's 1 for 11 this year, and his career average against the Mets is 178. Looking to pick up an RBI and at least tie the game up here. 1-0 delivery on the way. That'll be taken outside. Yarno had to reach for that one as it was in the dirt. There have been 3 wild pitches thrown this season by Syndergaard.
You better be able to move some of these arms the Orioles have seen. Sonny Gray had 10 wild pitches coming in. Of course, last night he faced DeGrom, who has some of the nastiest stuff we've seen. And here's Syndergaard with the power fastball curveball combination.
Runner goes from first. They're going to throw through. Runner not going. Tag is late. Stolen base. So Parra gets a stolen base and into scoring position. So far, this game's going, you just read the book. Everybody runs on these pitchers. They're running.
There you go. Parra getting a good jump. Joe Walter sensing he's got a good opportunity right there. Nice ball to run on, too. Another fastball missing down and away. Larnell can't get the handle. Parra in safely.
That's his first stolen base as an Oriole. He is 10 out of 13 overall on the year. So now Jones can get a couple on a base hit. And the pitch will be outside. They're loaded. Well, we pick up where the Orioles left off at the bottom of the 9th inning last night. Bases loaded, nobody out.
It's good to see him answering right back here. Offense putting some pressure on Syndergaard now. Syndergaard's been impressive at his home park, and as you talked about earlier, he has struggled in his 8 road starts. No wins with a 5.01 earned run average. So putting the pressure on him early going to be very important. Do not want him to settle in and feel more comfortable on the road.
And here's Chris Davis. Well, this is tailor-made. If you're the Orioles, you draw this up on the board first inning. Let's load him up and have Davis at the plate. He is 4 for 14 with the bases loaded. 2 salamis. And the pitch will be taken for a strike at the knee. So very early in this game, we get a very key moment. With the sacks full, the double by Machado, he's at third. Parra's got the single at second. Jones the walk. He is on at first base. 0-1 count. Davis looking to take that up. Cut. Ball misses down low. 1-1. And again, as we talked about last night, and it was Machado, in fact, at the time, you've got the shift on in the infield, so Uribe, the third baseman, is playing over in the shortstop position. So Manny Machado's walking halfway down the line on these throws to the plate.
Yeah, absolutely. Get in there. Get in Syndergaard's head a little bit. Stir him up. There's a lot of pressure on him right now. I mean, seems very calm and composed out there on the mound, but a lot of pressure when the bases are loaded and no outs.
Davis on a big cut at 96 miles an hour. You are looking at the pitcher who has been clocked this year as the best, if you go by the velocity, best fastball in the National League on average.
Yeah, well, he kind of comfortably sits right there at 95, 96 miles an hour.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way. Davis will foul that one off the mask. Keeps his at bat alive.
We'll take a look at the Mets defense. Conforto, Magares, Granderson in the Mets outfield. Flores and Murphy are up the middle. Uribe getting the start at third base. Duda back at first. And d'Arnaud getting his second start in a row here.
Orioles trailing 1-0. Bottom of the first inning. Bases loaded. Nobody out. Chris Davis, second in RBIs, second in homers in the league. Davis will foul that one back. A pitch that came in on the fist. And it will stay at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You got to think protecting the top of the zone. He's rushing it up there 96, 97 miles an hour. If there's any kind of dip in that bat head, you are not going to be able to get to it. And you know they're going to try that heater at the top of the zone. So start high and with your sights at the top of the zone. Be able to stay shorter to the baseball. Make your adjustments as the game goes.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery again. Syndergaard's breaking ball will get away. Machado, though, will not be able to come even with a big lead. Not far enough away. Arnold with a nice block of that, holding Machado at third base.
Got to be quick. Hard curveball here. Be able to get on the knees. He slides down there. Keeps it close enough. Hold Machado.
Chris is the leader when it comes to the home runs hit in his home ballpark. 21 of them. And he's got more RBIs in his home yard than any other player in the league. Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and Davis will foul that one back, and what a battle. Next pitch is going to be the 8th one of this at bat on the 15th pitch of the inning, and he's not recorded an out. Fans who came on time have learned a lesson. Come early, stay late. You never know. Oriole base runners for the outfield straight away pretty deep, especially left and right. Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and it's up high. Mercy, what a start.
Nice take right there by Chris Davis.
3 ball, 2 strike count with nobody out. The sack's full. The infield is back. They'll give up the run in order to get a double play off the ground ball. Chris with the 89 RBIs, 34 home runs, second in both departments. 3-2 delivery on the way. Davis, a swing and a miss. First base occupied, no tag needed. There's 1 out, and the bases remain loaded.
But he gets a call right there. The 3-2 breaking ball. Getting on the side, throwing it hard. Lights down, almost catching the plate. Davis gearing up for the heater. A little bit fooled on the 3-2 count. Another nice block by d'Arnaud.
And that'll bring up Jonathan Schoop. Jonathan didn't play last night. He wasn't here. He had nothing to do with 2 errors, a misplay, and an 0 for 4. That was somebody else. Bases loaded for Jonathan. And a swing on an off-speed breaking ball, 80 miles an hour with some movement to it.
Yeah, some nice bite on that pitch. Good location as well. Starts on the plate, breaking just off. That late finish on your off-speed pitches.
Jonathan has gone 2 for 5 with the bases loaded, including a grand slam this year. Has an 0-1 count. Crowd quiet. Here's the 0-1 delivery. That'll be outside. d'Arnaud's having himself a first inning behind the plate. Boy, he's being asked to do a game's worth of blocking here in the first inning.
Yeah, and then points out at Syndergaard and says, that's what I want. Keep it right there. Spiking that hard breaking ball down in the dirt. Now hitters have to gear up for the heater, so you're going to get some bites on that pitch. Got to prove he can throw it for strikes.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Machado, Power, Jones around the bases. 1-1 delivery to him. Will just miss. Set him up for an inside pitch. Hope to have him leaning out a little bit, but he didn't get it in there.
A couple breaking balls away. You see on the pitch track, and then trying to sneak the G's inside. Trying to be a little too fine right there, though. 97 just missing down and in.
2 ball, 1 strike count. Syndergaard's delivery to him. Scope will take that outside. No place to put him. Another off-speed delivery takes the count to 3-1.
The patience by Jonathan Scope. Jonathan Scope certainly is itching to do something big for this team after that rough night last night.
16 of his hits this year for extra bases. 3-1 delivery. Foul back and out of play. 22-year-old on the mound is facing himself quite an inning here. And a battle joined. Syndergaard against the Met, against the Oriole hitters. And another 3 ball, 2 strike count with the bases loaded. Scope ready, the delivery to him. Jonathan will foul that one back upstairs. Syndergaard's going. I guess I haven't discovered how to get through these first innings yet.
No, and Jonathan Scope thinking about that slider possibly that Chris Davis got, so a little tardy on the heater there. Not saying many hitters can pull the 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
3-2 delivery on its way again, and a ground ball towards the middle. There's 1 and there's 2. Bases loaded and nobody out, and the Orioles do not score a run. The ground ball through the wickets right at the bag for Murphy, but plenty of time to get it over to Duda. 1-0 Mets.
This season at home, Ubaldo Jimenez very good at home. 6-2 with a 3.20 on the road. He's had some struggles though. 4.61 earned run average. Well, Syndergaard the same at home. Unbelievable numbers. 7 wins with a 1.82, but on the road hasn't picked up a victory yet. 5 losses with a 5.01 earned run average.
Ubaldo Jimenez back to work. Pitch taken for a strike. Well, that was quite the first inning for both teams. Conforto at the plate, and a check swing he went around on. Conforto, their youngster, is getting the start in left field for them. 1 for 4 in the ball game last night. First outing that he has had against the Orioles. Did not play in that first series. The pitch will be taken inside from Jimenez for a ball.
A highly touted young player, shot up through the system and expected to make a serious impact at the major league level.
A 1-ball 2-strike delivery on the way. Jimenez will get that one in there, and that will be strikeout number 2.
Good fastball. Conforto probably looking for something else there. There are a couple off-speed pitches in this at bat, just missing his spot, but staying on the plate.
Speaking of strikeouts, our Express Stat by Express Care, a LifeBridge health partner. For locations, visit whywaitinther.com.
Most strikeouts as a start of this season for the Orioles. Ubaldo Jimenez leading the way with 124. Of course, we talked about this is a serious bounce back year for him. A low walk rate under 3. And big strikeouts, Chen 118, Gonzalez.
That one is tic-tac foul. And out in front of that one, Flores, who had an 0 for 2 in the ball game last night, Met shortstop. That's his number also against Jimenez. He is 0 for 2 against Jimenez, 1 for 4 last night. And the pitch is taken down low for a ball.
Well, most of the Orioles starting pitchers, back to that strikeout stuff, have been talked to. They don't really have a dominant true #1 ace that has blow away stuff. So pitch to contact and use this defense. That's why the strikeout's down by the starters.
That'll be played by Parr in right field. He's got it. Flores is retired. 2 down. Well, get ready to show your orange head to toe Friday as the first 20,000 fans 15 and over at the Twins game get a pair of Oriole high socks. It's a fashion statement. You can enjoy a great night of baseball as well. Tickets are going fast. Don't delay. Orioles.com for ticks or 888-848-BIRD. 2 down, nobody on here in the second. Juan Lagares coming up. You too can have high socks. And the pitch is taken for a strike. Orioles conclude this quick 2-game set with the Mets, and then the Twins will be in for 4 coming up over the weekend. 0-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be fouled back upstairs. And Jimenez throwing strikes, and it goes to 0-2.
He really has to stay in the zone. A lot of the Orioles pitchers start thinking about working deeper in the ball games, and that's being more aggressive in the strike zone, bottom of the zone. We talked about using the defense behind them. Been a pretty good week here for Orioles starters.
0-2 is fouled away.
A lot of them have had their quality stuff, but have found a way to fight and grind through a ball game, get deeper into the ball game. It's been important here on this homestand.
Orioles starter ERA 12th in the American League. 0-2 delivery on the way, will be outside. Orioles have given up a lot of home runs. They are second most in home runs surrendered by starters at 98 now, with the home run picked up by Murphy already in this ball game. Oriole pitchers 11th in innings per start. Pitch like that, you'll have a lot more of them. Jimenez gets the strikeout. That's 2 in the inning. Retires the side in order. Clevenger to the plate when we come back. for being selected. 500 more for every Orioles home run hit tonight. Play Baseball Bucks Scratch House went up to 50,000. Or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Go to mdlottery.com/baseball. Really gorgeous sunset tonight. Mid-80 temperatures today. Little breeze has picked up from left to right, but not much. The Syndergaard worked his way out of a very dangerous first inning. Fly ball pitcher who got a ground ball for a double playoff. Jonathan Scope to end it after the Orioles had loaded him up with nobody out. Here is Steve Clevenger. Infielders trying to figure out where they're supposed to be are set. And the delivery will be taken for a strike. Steve's the DH in the ball game. He had a 1-for-4 last night. Continued his hit streak to 3 games now. He's 6-for-14 with a home run during the streak. 3 runs scored, and a big cut on the 96 pitch. 0-2.
96. That's not the straight one though. That's a 2-seam fastball. Great late movement. Keep it off the barrel. Off the bat completely of Clevenger. Clevenger, a great contact guy, uses the whole field. That's why this Mets defense pretty much straight all the way around.
That one off the end of the bat. Granderson. On Saturday, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over get the orange and black Orioles trucker hat. Birds take on the Twins. 7:05. Unique item to add to your Birdline wardrobe. Postseason heating up. Tickets going fast, so get yours at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. It'll be the theme song for Trucker Night. Dave Dudley. And the pitch is taken for a strike. Should we sing him happy birthday or let him have a good birthday?
Go right ahead.
JJ. He just joined right in. Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way and a swing and a miss. 1-for-3 in the ball game last night for Hardy.
You can see why Syndergaard can be so effective. It's not just the 4-seam fastball he rushes up there. Great movement with incredible velocity. Get that kind of movement boring in on the hands of the righty.
That'll be strikeout number 2. 2 down.
Well, a 2-seam fastball at 97, then riding the heater to the top of the zone at 97. This is the 4-seamer. Of course, extra life up through the top of the zone. That little bat head dip. Hardy just underneath.
Henry Urrutia coming to the plate as the Orioles search for a left fielder continues. He has a 1-for-3 ball game last night. Urrutia will take the pitch. Urrutia trying to earn the job. 5th game with the Orioles this season. He's had 3 hits, 15 at bats, has picked up 4 RBIs. The 1-0 delivery to him. Urrutia will take it. It's there for a strike on the inside corner.
There are a lot of things Urrutia had to work on. Obviously, getting more at bats was one because he had a little setback of the sports hernia a couple years ago. So this year, a nice bounce back year. Really improved his defense. 10 home runs in AAA.
That one's going to be away. Syndergaard goes by the book on first strikes. He needs them. If he gets it, hitters hit 180. If he doesn't, it jumps all the way to 291 if the first pitch is a ball. 2 ball, 1 strike count here. Urrutia goes to short. Short hop, knocked down. Flores with time. And a 1-2-3 inning. We've completed 2 here at Camden Yards, and the Mets have the 1-0 lead. Argonauts are making contingency plans. They play the same place the Blue Jays do, and they're scheduled to play 4 games in October. The Blue Jays hope they'll be playing, so the Argonauts are looking for another home. The Toronto Blue Jays are 16-3 since Tulowitzki debuted. The ERA 2.28 during that span. And the Yankees, they won today, defeating the Twins 4-3. Gregory Bird, Gregory Bird, 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Teixeira did not play in that ball game. He fouled the ball off his shin, and badly so. He's got a bruise, and he's been out 2 games. But Gregory Bird,
how about that?
He's picking him up. Pitch will be taken for a strike by Granderson.
Yankees counting on their system. Make any big moves before the trade deadline.
Yep.
Thought they might have enough depth in the organization. Bird coming up and having a very productive day.
Very. Pitch bounces. And had a good game yesterday. For Granderson, he lined out his first time up. Granderson has seen a lot of Jimenez. He is 3 for 14 with a home run lifetime. With the 2 home runs Granderson got last night, he is now 9th in the National League in homers with the 22 that he's picked up. A surprise bat at the top of the order if you don't follow the statistics with the power that he can generate. 2-2 delivery on the way to him. Granderson will take it down low.
Oh, Caleb wanted that one. Take a look at this. Fewest career at-bats for home run all-time at Camden Yards. And Granderson leading the way, 11.1. Nick Swisher on the list, but there's Chris Davis. Granderson picked up his 17th and 18th home run of his career here at Camden Yards last night.
He's had only 4 hits against the Orioles this year, and 3 of them are home runs. He's 4 for 10. 3 home runs and 4 RBIs this season. 3-2 delivery to him, and there's a chopper to the middle. Manny Machado in the shift makes the play on a speedy Granderson. Well, now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use O's Couch Cam. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. And for God's sakes, watch the game. Here is Murphy. First inning home run, his 9th of the year. And Murphy has given the Mets the 1-0 lead. He's now 5 for 12 on the year against the Orioles. He's been a nemesis. He's got 4 RBIs in the 3+ games that have been played. Orioles have been outscored now in the season series 14-6, including the home run tonight. They've been out-homered 5-3 in this short series on the year against the Mets, 2 in New York and 2 here.
You see Murphy's power zone. Well, Baldo's 4th pitch was a slider that got in and out of that power zone, but he somehow managed to get the bat head on the ball and knock it out of the park.
0-2 delivery, not that one. Baldo gets him 4 strikeouts.
Nice pitch right there from Ubaldo. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. You want to talk about location? This is perfect. Down and away. Nice movement on a 2-seamer. Look at it.
How you feeling?
Right at the end. A little bit of movement to keep it off the bat. Nice pitch.
2 down, nobody on. Here's Cespedes. Single, stolen base. Their DH is now 4 for 11 off Jimenez. And he will take the pitch down low for a ball. Shift on against Cespedes in the infield, playing into pull. Fastball will be up high. 1 low, 1 up, and the count goes to 2-0.
This is the Orioles with the big shift there. Jonathan Scope over on the shortstop side.
Talking to some of the scouts who are following the Mets around, they don't think Cespedes is going to be signed or that the Mets will even try.
Really?
Yeah. Now, obviously, that's complete rumor. But from the guys in the game, I was really surprised to hear that, and maybe it's not true. See next year, I guess, of the offseason. Hardy at short, hustles it over and gets the out. Clock in head working well. A 1-2-3 inning, and that's going to be 7 in a row set down by Ubaldo Jimenez. It is a 1-0 Mets lead. You buy Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com and by Coons.com. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Gary Thorne, Mike Gordick with you here. Oriole Park at Camden Yards. 1-0 lead on the home run by Murphy as we go to the bottom half of the third inning. 22-year-old Syndergaard averages more than a strikeout per inning pitch. With the 2 he's added in this game, he's got 113 strikeouts in 107 innings. And he keeps that hit number below innings pitched as he's given up 93 hits in 107 innings.
You can't really compare him to any of these names I'm going to mention right here, but his 111 strikeouts in the first 17 starts of his career are the fourth most behind Dwight Gooden, Matt Harvey, and Nolan Ryan. Pretty impressive company there.
Yikes. That is in there for a strike. It's what the Mets have put together as a staff rotation of flamethrowers, power arms.
Yeah, they picked up Syndergaard by way of trade from Toronto for R.A. Dickey.
Yep. Pitch, that's in there for a strike. Caleb Joseph, 3-game hit streak, did not play in the ball game last night. Caleb's having a tremendous month. Power numbers are up since the break. The 298 and 5 home runs. Caleb among the top 5 in slugging this month in the American League, right behind Chris Davis.
He's been on an impressive tear here offensively, and this is doing it basically every other day.
The 0-2 delivery will be taken down low. He likes to bury those pitches in the dirt when he's trying to get a hitter to chase. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Has never won a game on the road with that 0-5 record. One-two pitch to Caleb, and he puts it in the air. Right center, playable. Lagares puts it away. 1 away. On Sunday, come out and watch the birds celebrate with the other animals in your life. The first 20,000 fans 15 and over receive the Orioles pet leash when the O's take on the Twins Sunday. Your full-legged friends can show the Birdland colors too, thanks to this unique item. Tickets for Sunday's game available at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Why are all you people laughing? Why are you doing that out there? Don't read into this. Pitch will be taken for a ball down low. Manny Machado had a double as a 4-game hit streak. He went after the first pitch. Syndergaard threw and put a gapper into right center field. 1 down, Parra's on deck. 1-0 delivery. Syndergaard uses what we see. Excuse me.
Look at the power zone of Manny Machado. Great plate coverage. Up and away. I'd like to see that, and it will get better and better as his career goes.
Syndergaard uses that almost no windup that we see so often, especially for pitchers who have a little height to them. It's just a little rock on the rubber and deliver in order to cut down on body part movements out there so that you can deliver the ball where you want it to go.
Yeah, really, this game at the major league level is all about efficiency. The windup has to be efficient and repeatable, and when you're 6'6", as Syndergaard is, you got to find ways to keep it clean.
83-mile-an-hour pitch, and a good one with break 2-2.
He has some pretty good secondary offerings. Take a look at the Nissan pitch track. He's getting his location down, trying to work Machado at the bottom of the zone, and is.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Machado waiting on it. It'll be taken inside. Syndergaard, as we said, is a fly ball pitcher. He has given up home runs. 5 home runs his last 3 starts. 4 of those 5 had come in the first inning of ball games. 3 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way, and Manny will go chasing on the 82.
Showing a pretty good breaking ball here tonight. The curveball, after working down and in on Machado, spins one away, gets Manny reaching, and a good finish right off the end of the bat. The second out.
Syndergaard coming off a win, a 12-3 victory for the Mets against Colorado. He gave up 4 runs on 3 hits in that ball game. couple of home runs. Had 5 strikeouts, 2 walks in his last start. Here is Parra, base hit his first time up, 6-game hit streak now. Gerardo Parra really putting up some impressive numbers as the season grinds on. He's coming over to the Orioles. Parra upping his average close to the 300 mark. Picked up 4 home runs, 6 RBIs. Overall, 328 in the National League. Syndergaard, as the numbers told us, a different pitcher when he gets by the first inning, and it sure looks that way.
A couple good changeups right there. Now, when you throw 97, 98 miles an hour, expect the changeup to be pretty hard as well. 88, 89 on the last 2 changeups there to Parra. Both pretty nice running fade action down in the zone.
Parra's got the big numbers against the Mets for the Orioles. 7 for 25, 2 home runs on the season. He's played against them in 2 different uniforms this year. Once in the National League and now with the Orioles. 0-2 count. Outfield will shade to left a bit. 0-2 delivery on the way to him. Parra will pop it up that way towards short. It'll go to left and be hauled in. Conforto out there to put it away. That's 9 in a row retired by Syndergaard when you include that double play and strikeout in the first.
Julio Barbone doing a great job. One of the veteran pickups here a couple years ago for the Orioles. 29 years old. Speed guys, parts of 4 years in the major leagues and 47 stolen bases at the major league level. Well, this month he's been on fire. 348, 5 RBI, 6 stolen bases, and a very solid season with the 277 batting average, 21 stolen bases. Good speed, great defender. We might see him in September.
Call-ups already being discussed in all the organizations. Walu Jimenez to work here. Cleanup batter. Lucas Duda. Duda called out on strikes his first time up. Uribe. Then Darno due up. Each team with a couple of hits in the game. And that one will cut inside and back him off. Saw a story today. I could not believe that Adam Lowen, remember Adam?
Sure.
Pitcher?
Yeah.
Is playing again. I didn't know that.
Well, good for him.
Bullpen with the Phillies. He's pitching again.
My gosh.
You believe that?
Pitching to player, back to pitching.
2-0 is going to be fouled away. Adam Lowen was with the Orioles originally. He's now 31 years old. And he wasn't pitching well. He had an arm injury, a stress fracture in his elbow. So he was converted into an outfielder. He spent a couple of seasons with the Mets and the Jays in their minor league system last year and then was let go. Pat Gillick signed him to a minor league contract last season after he tried out with the team, and he came back up on August 10 and pitched for the Phillies out of the bullpen. 7 years since he had pitched in a major league game.
Good for him.
Adam Lowen, good luck. That's staying with it.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to work with the Blue Jays a while back, and he was actually in their minor league system learning how to become a position player.
Yeah.
So I saw him go through the ups and downs offensively, trying to work his swing, and he may have even gotten called up in September last year or the year before with Toronto in the big leagues. But
3-2 delivery, and that's going to be away. So the leadoff batter on here in the 4th inning, second walk from Jimenez. Show us your Birdland pride, Baltimore, and tag your tweets using I Back the Birds during this week's homestand for your chance to win an autographed O's prize pack. And follow on Masson Orioles on Instagram and Twitter to get more information. Leadoff man on, first one in the game for the Mets. Jimenez 70% retiring leadoff batters. Another walk was picked up by Uribe, who fouls off the pitch.
Jimenez can be real tough when he starts getting his secondary pitches over. Boy, he can get in the head of hitters, keep him off balance. And right now, Caleb Joseph is working, and he's throwing everything in the book. The first pitch slider.
That one again came in on the fist, and he fights it off the other way. So Jimenez will get ahead of him, 0-2. Duda, not a base stealer, over there at first base, keeping the lead short. And that one is just going to miss outside to Uribe. A 1-ball, 2-strike count. Uribe noted for being a very patient hitter. Started the season with the Dodgers. Traded to Atlanta in May. Picked up by the Mets from Atlanta on the deal. And came back in on him with a real good pitch to get him.
Beautiful pitch there from Ubaldo. 89 miles an hour after throwing the fastball away. Right back on the inside corner. Two-seamer running in. And Uribe swinging right over the top. Nice late movement.
Travis d'Arnaud coming up. Hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. Runner still at first. Infield at double play depth. d'Arnaud will take the pitch for a strike. Orioles are now 500 in interleague play. They are 8-8 in interleague games. The Mets over the years have been the most difficult to beat. Orioles are 9 for 22 against the Mets overall, 6-12 here at Camden Yards. And as we said, the Mets have won 9 straight against the Orioles. 0-2 count with 1 down. 5 Ks have been put up on the board by Ubaldo Jimenez so far.
I think a big reason why Ubaldo's having this strikeout success here this season is the fact that he is more aggressive around the plate. You get hitters more into that swing mode when you're throwing strikes.
0-2 down low. Good scoop made by Caleb Joseph. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Mets don't score a lot of runs. Used to playing tight ball games. They're 12th in runs in the National League, dead last in average at 236. Murphy is 9th home run, the only one up on the board. 1-2 delivery. That one's put up in the air down the line. Manny Machado turns his back to the plate, charging, and will not have a play. Heredia was way over towards center. No way to get there in time.
Nice to see Manny going after that ball, though. I mean, a long way down that left field line in foul ground. That's how you have to play. I mean, every position you have to act like you want the ball. Doesn't matter if it's fouled off into the third deck. An aggressive first step. It'll help you get to a lot more balls, show more range. Manny there, not giving up at all, hollering over at Jonathan.
He's taking the what for from Jonathan Scope.
Right.
They never stop talking to one another. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Runner goes. Joseph's throw a little high and off. But got him. Great tag made. Scope had to come off the bag to get it. Flash the tag on the back of Duda to record the out.
Boy, that is a great play by Jonathan Scope. Caleb Joseph getting caught here, and the ball leaks up the line. But as an infielder, you got to step up the line yourself. Jonathan Schoop does that. He isn't behind the bag. He's in front of the bag. Allows him an opportunity to put the tag down. The long arms able to get Duda on the shoulder. Beautiful play. What athleticism by Jonathan Schoop.
Yarno will take the pitch outside. See, we told you it was not Schoop at second base last night. We don't know who that was.
I know.
This is Schoop.
I don't even think he knows who showed up last night. Just don't see that from Jonathan Schoop.
Outstanding defensive play. 3-2 delivery and another walk. 3 walks in the ball game, 2 in the inning will keep it alive for the Mets here in the 4th. 1-2-0 for the Mets, 0-2-0 for the Orioles. Each team has left 2 on. Conforto will come to the plate. Michael Conforto, the youngster, struck out his first time up, but the inning stays alive for him. Short lead at first. Darno, and the pitch will be taken inside for a ball. So up to 67 pitches thrown in the ball game. And with that first pitch being a ball, they will move the infield around into a full shift. Conforto waiting on it, and that one's going to be inside. And the count goes to 2-0.
Conforto comes from a pretty athletic family. Father played football at Penn State, a linebacker. Mom was in the Olympics as a swimmer.
And Jimenez struggling here with a strike zone all of a sudden. Count goes to 3-0. Flores waiting on deck. Short lead at first. Conforto goes after it and fouls it off. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Jimenez working at a quick pace. His pre and post All-Star appearances have been, unfortunately for him, uniquely different. ERA has really shot up since the All-Star break. Here's the 3-1 delivery on the way, and that one in the kitchen. 4 walks, 3 in this inning, and that will bring Dave Wallace on the run to the mound.
Well, Dave Wallace must see something here in Ubaldo's delivery. Of course, they always keep a tight eye on his mechanics. Just the smallest fraction of an inch, whether he steps back too far or the knee doesn't come up high enough and the arm drops a little bit or lags behind a little bit too much, he's going to be off by a few inches. And maybe Dave Wallace sees something there, maybe just to give him a little bit of a breather after a couple quick outs there. I want him to continue to work hard through this inning. Right back into the zone. After every pitch, though, you see him wiping his hand, maybe the sweat going down there and causing him to lose that grip.
So key moment with 2 down here in the 4th inning. Flores flied out to right field his first time up. Second chance for the Mets in the game with a runner in scoring position. And that pitch will be outside. Talked about Jimenez ERA jumping before the All-Star break 2.81. After the break 7.39, the 4th largest increase in the majors. And that is a strike as he catches the knees and the corner on it, and a 1 ball 1 strike count to Wilmer Flores.
That'd be nice if Ubaldo could get back into that rhythm he had in the first half. I mean, sensational start of the season for Ubaldo after a very rough last year. First season with the Orioles, had some struggles, ended up losing his spot in the rotation. See the numbers there before the break, the 17 games, 7 wins with that very good earned run average of 2.81, and then lost it a little bit here in the 6 games after the All-Star break.
2-1 delivery on the way. He's aiming. Strike zone is eluding him right now, and he's trying to place the ball in it. Yarno on at second base. Conforto on at first, both drawing the walk. That caught stealing, getting Duda, looms as a large play. And Flores will go after one that was down and into him. And the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. So with 2 down, the runners will be going. Flores against the Orioles, a couple of hits and 11 at bats this season. Big chance for him for an RBI and for Jimenez to get out of the inning. Three-two, runners go. Ball four, swung at and foul back. Just protecting.
The 3-2 slider there. Hasn't really had the best command. I think Caleb Joseph hoping that Flores would do just what he did, and that's expand the zone on the slider to be able to get a little bit of a piece of it.
Delivery again, runners go down the line the other way. Foul. Flores, 289 over the last 13 games, picking the pace up here in the month of August as the Mets driving for that playoff spot in a division title. No, they've got to pick the offense up, and here in August have done a little bit of that. 3-2 again, and that one goes down the line. Davis going over, and no play. Not high enough to get over there.
A good jump though by Davis. Pretty close, a lot closer than I thought he was going to get to. In a long inning, 3 walks, and just ran out of some real estate over there.
Nobody could reach that one. This is going to be the 31st pitch of the inning. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Runners getting their exercise. 3-2 delivery again, and that's going to be a base hit. Yarno will come around to score. Adam Jones up. They got Timmy Tupples holding his runner at third now. An RBI base hit by Flores. And a 2-0 lead for the Mets.
Nice at bat there by Flores. Aldo Jimenez trying to avoid that 4th walk. Grooves one, and he hammers it back up the middle. Runners on the move. Able to score easily.
So Flores picks up a big 2-out RBI for the Mets, and the call goes to the bullpen. Tom Cheedy will get somebody up and throwing. Flores gets his 45th RBI. He's been very productive for this Met team. Ryan Mattis getting ready. Runners on at first and third. 2 down. Juan Lagares, their number 9 hitter, struck out his first time up. Center fielder will take the pitch inside for a ball, and that's the way Ubaldo Jimenez has started these hitters off here in the 4th inning. It's been ball 1.
Yeah, he unfortunately can't find that command. I mean, Ubaldo needs to get ahead. And hitters will start expanding the zone.
1-0 goes to center Adam Jones. He's got it. But a run will score on just 1 hit, but 3 walks. 2 are left on base. 2-0 Mets. This is the remaining schedule for the three teams right now who are battling, and Tampa Bay still got a shot, but New York, Toronto, Baltimore are the three in contention. You see, they all have 26 games remaining against the American League East. It's Toronto with 6 against the West. That could be advantageous for the other two teams, and 6 against the Central for Toronto. The Yankees have got 8 against a very tough Central division with Kansas City. The National League games remaining. Interleague play, the Yankees still have 6. Bottom line gives you the total number of games remaining, but 26 in the division for each of those three clubs. The Yankees, who won today, have a 1.5 lead over Toronto and a 5.5 game lead over the Orioles.
Well, the Orioles are going to have to play some really good baseball here down the stretch. Tough enough to play in your division, but National League games left. They got to go up against the Nationals. Now, of course, the Nationals are kind of struggling here recently, but they have great pitching. So strength of schedule wise, I think the Orioles are going to be tested. They're going to pick it up even more than they have been.
Syndergaard getting another run to work with. Adam Jones. Adam drew a walk his first time up. Bottom half of the 4th inning. 2-0 Met lead. He drills that one to the gap. That stays up. Will take a hop and a ground rule double. So the Orioles get the leadoff man on for the second time in 4 innings. Both times it's been a 2-bagger.
Adam Jones getting on this fastball. Much center cut. You still have to do a lot of things right. A 97-mile-an-hour fastball, gets that front foot down and gets behind the baseball, knocking the powder off the bat. Great swing by Adam Jones. He wishes he would have gotten that one a little elevated. That would have been up and over both bullpens.
Now Chris Davis. Orioles 1 for 3 in these situations. Another chance to get a run in. Davis struck out his first time up. Syndergaard's delivery down low. He has walked 1, struck out 3 in the ball game. Jimenez has 4 walks and 5 strikeouts. Orioles trying to get this young right-hander. Davis had a long at bat against him that ended up being a strikeout. Pitch on the way. And that will break in at 81 miles an hour. Boy, the differentials on his pitches are significant.
Yeah, and he can really spin that breaking ball. 81 miles an hour, and it was hanging up there at the top of the zone. And what a finish at the end. Just burying itself down into the zone.
1-1. Runner off second. Fastball up high. Chris refuses to go after it. Chris, while he is atop the strikeout list, he is also part of the walk list. Top 10, showing a little more of the patience that we have talked about that he's gone with here in the second half of the season. Chris is 8th in the league in walks. Shift on against him. 2-1 delivery on the way. Tailed that one down and away. 2-2.
88-mile-an-hour changeup. Great action at the end. So not all about just blowing hitters away with 98, 99-mile-an-hour fastball. It's about moving it, locating it. Great location with that change there. You see catching that down and away corner.
2-2 delivery on the way. Trying to jump on one at 96 and a 2-ball 2-strike count. Adam Jones with a leadoff double on at second base. Machado started out that first inning with a double, and the Orioles loaded him up with nobody out. Davis struck out. Jonathan Scope hit into a double play. The Orioles did not score. Murphy the first inning home run. Flores the RBI base hit for the Mets. 2-2 delivery to Davis. Cranks it deep and foul.
He's making some pretty good pitches with most of his off-speed pitches. That one he leaves in the middle of the plate with 2 strikes, and Davis almost makes him pay. Fortunately, takes so much off. Davis just gets out in front.
Adam Jones keeping an eye behind him. Flores holding him. And the pitch away. Syndergaard takes it to 3 balls and 2 strikes. He's got a 5.2 mark over his last 9 starts. ERA 2.4 over those 9 games. He's been tough. He's held opponents to a 196 batting average over the last 9. His season opponent average 232. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Runner off second. Davis fouls it back. Boy, these two have locked up in a couple of long at bats here in this ball game.
Davis getting a couple pitches on the plate. He hopes he can get back. At times he's expanded the zone a little bit. When pitches are on the plate, he's been doing some damage here lately.
3-2 will be coming again. Davis takes it and he's on. So the Orioles get the first 2 on here in the 4th inning. Second walk, he's surrendered. Take a look at our Maryland Live Casino inside the numbers.
Best record versus a rookie starter this season. The Mets have the best winning percentage in the 14 wins, but there's the Orioles 16-6, 727 winning percentage. Not easy to face rookie starters. I expect that the rookies might be nervous, but it's all about scouting reports nowadays, and I think that's why the Orioles can kind of hang their hat on that success there. They do a great job with their advanced scouting. All down in the minor leagues. Buck Showalter talked about Ben Worthen in his address to the media earlier today. The best at gathering information and relaying it on to the players, so they have the better at bats and are prepared almost as well as anybody in the game.
So the discussion, and Worthen with Syndergaard. Pitching coach went out. Here's Jonathan Schoop. Schoop hitting a double play his first time up. Again gets a chance. Runners on at first and second. Bases were loaded when he came up in the first inning. Syndergaard's delivery to him will be inside for a ball. So he too starting to pile up some pitches. Had a good quick second and third innings. He had retired 9 in a row before the double picked up by Jones to lead off this inning. 1-0 count. Schoop, breaking ball away. 1-1.
Well, that is a nice pitch. Just when you think you have him, falls behind. Just guaranteeing yourself a fastball count to gear up for the heat, and he puts a little wrinkle in it. Going forward on a nice little breaking ball there.
1-1 delivery, then comes back with a fastball that'll miss inside. Against Syndergaard, hitters 224 with runners in scoring position. Jones is that, and Davis is a first. 2-0 lead for the Mets. Infield double play depth, nobody out. 2-1 delivery on the way, and a swing and a miss again. That breaking ball away, this time at 83.
Well, they're much more effective when you start him on the plate. He does there. Looks like it might be a fastball in the outer third, but then it just disappears. The tight spin down and away. Schoop can't recognize it soon enough.
Jonathan 276 in these situations will go down swinging. 4 strikeouts. Syndergaard 1 away.
Another breaking ball here, located very well once again. Starting on the plate and then just breaking off right on the outside corner. Takes enough velocity off to get Schoop out in front.
And Steve Clevenger will get the chance. Led off the second inning, flied out to right field. Limited chances, but he's gone 4 for 7 with the Orioles. Runners in scoring position this year. Steve will take the pitch away for a ball. 2 on, 1 out. Another grinded out game as expected against the Mets, who won the opener last night 5-3. Are looking to win the ball games, all 4 of them this season. They won 2 in New York. Here's the 1-0 delivery on the way. Lash foul the other way.
Likes throwing that two-seam fastball to the lefty. Certainly the arm side, his favorite side there. Nice movement on the outside corner, and he's backed it up with some good changeups. We talked about the velocity. Well, 97 miles an hour on the heater. This changeup's been 88, 89 miles an hour, but it looks just like that two-seam fastball. So gear up for the 97 and about 8 or 9 miles an hour slower to get hitters out in front.
Counts at 1-1. Syndergaard's delivery. Clevenger will foul that one back. And 1-2. This season for the rookie pitcher, these kinds of at-bats with a lot of foul balls have been the norm for him. His pitch counts generally been up, and that's been the reason why with the strikeouts he gets and a lot of foul balls on at-bats. It's that fastball you can't quite get.
Right.
And you foul it generally straight back. Clevenger on a chopper. That's going to go into center field for a base hit. Jones coming. Here's the throw to the plate, cut off. Clevenger gets the RBI single and makes it a 2-1 ball game.
Steve Clevenger staying hot. Respect him with the straight up infield, so that opens a hole in the middle. Makes it right over Syndergaard's shoulder. Finds some outfield grass. Adam Jones with a good secondary lead, able to slide in safely and easily.
That's 6 RBIs in 9 games. Clevenger has played with the Orioles this season. So the Orioles get a big base hit. Runners remain at first and second. J.J. Hardy, strikeout victim his first time up, takes the sweeping pitch away for a ball. The Orioles now with a run on 4 hits. And Hardy with a chance to do the baseball part of his birthday celebration right here. Tie the ball game up or better with a base hit. And a swing and a miss, throttled it back to 82.
Oh, he likes that spot down the way with that breaking ball. Very confident in that pitch. The location there, pretty much filling up that spot down and away.
Hardy with a 1-1. That'll miss outside. JJ, 2-ball, 1 strike count. 31 RBIs for the Orioles shortstop this season. Syndergaard will look back at Davis at second. Where Davis goes. Oh, what a jump. Pitch was taken because Hardy saw Chris Davis had the base stolen before the ball was even released.
There you go. Buck Showalter giving them the green light, and it's all about timing. Pitchers fall into routines, and at times they don't pay attention to runners. Syndergaard slow to the plate anyway. He's concentrating on the strike zone, turns away, and Davis starts stealing before he even delivers the ball to home.
2 out of 3 for Chris on the year. Clevenger still at first base. 2-ball, 2 strike count on Hardy. JJ will take it for a strike. That's number 5 for Syndergaard.
Steady diet of sliders to JJ Hardy, and then 98 painted on the outside corner. JJ can't offer it.
Henry Urrutia. Urrutia grounded out his first time up. Orioles have a run in, potential tying run, 90 away. Urrutia will take the pitch outside for a ball. 1-0 count with 2 down.
Davis stealing that base. Would have been nice if Clevenger would have followed him along. Be holding him on there. You got to pay attention to that lead runner.
Same place, same result. Count at 2-0. A 22-year-old, 1 year AAA last year. This is only his 6th pro season. He went 31-19 in the minors. Runners off first and third, 2-0 delivery. Urrutia goes to left, but it's going to be right at him. Conforto is there to put it away. The Orioles get a run on a couple of hits and leave 2 on base. 1-run game. Are available as a scorecard inside. All the numbers, symbols telling you how to keep score. And the young man doing it tonight is Jason Kriegertz. His father, Jason Sr., sitting next to him. They're from Aberdeen. A young man who's staying in the game, and he's going to tell you how.
What did Machado do?
He doubled.
Yeah.
And then Para, he singled. And then stole second.
Yeah, it's fun. It was fun teaching him. It kind of brushed off the rust for me a little bit. And then I'm looking forward to teaching him how to score, too.
That's just great. We love seeing the kids who are doing that. There he is. Jason and his dad, Jason Sr. from Aberdeen. Got the scorecard. It just keeps you in a ball game. Keeps you going. And you become so much more involved and learn so much more about the game.
Absolutely. You love that. You love young kids getting into Orioles baseball. I think a generation was lost.
Yeah.
You know, for about 14 years when they weren't winning, but now the Orioles playing some great baseball, a lot of interest, and there is a group of youngsters that are really following the O's. Good to see him keeping the scorecard there.
We'll keep an eye the rest of the season for some youngsters who are doing that in our ball games. Granderson again. This one's going to roll all the way to the wall. Parra's going back to get it. Granderson's on his way to second base. Well, at least he didn't hit a home run. Granderson picks up a double to lead off the 5th inning, his first hit of the ball game. And you see 23 of the 2-baggers.
Granderson loves hitting here at Camden Yards, getting an elevated fastball and hammering it, just getting on the top for a line drive. If that Fathead catches that ball on the bottom third, it's going to be up over the flag court as well. 2 home runs in last night's ball game. Granderson staying hot.
Now a runner in scoring position in the 5th with nobody out. Here's Murphy, a home run and a strikeout. Murphy's going to get a base hit into right field. Parra's got to cut it off. Does, but falls down. Granderson will score. They get the run back in 2 batters. Murphy with his second RBI of the game, and it is 3-1 Mets.
Very nice piece of hitting there by Murphy. Great effort by Parra. He's trying to cut this ball off. Stop Granderson from scoring another elevated pitch. This time the split finger stays up in the zone. Parra the tight angle, but can't get the feet underneath him. Granderson will get around third base and score. Michael Gibbons now warming up in the Orioles bullpen.
That's 5 hits now for the Mets. 3 runs on 5 hits. Murphy now has 6 RBIs in the 4 games against the Orioles. Here's Cespedes, a base hit, and he is grounded out. Top of the order, getting things done here in the 5th inning for the Mets. 0-1 count, nobody out. Cespedes with the power and speed taking over that 3-hole. Duda, power hitter, cleanup. Not a big lead at first. Murphy stays. Pitch will just miss by Jimenez. 1-1.
Quality pitch there. Get ahead, then start working the perimeter. Just missed that outside corner.
Cespedes, 275 since joining the Mets. This is his 17th game. He's had 2 home runs, 8 RBIs with the Mets. Third base, Manny Machado. Great short hop. There's one. Jonathan Scope. Major league double play right there.
And it does not get much better than that. Great read by Manny Machado. Right off the bat. Recognizes. Come and get the short hop. How about the release there? And then Jonathan Scope. Money with the double play turn. Boy, in the glove, out. Scope the same way. It is a quick, clean double play. A couple great young infielders there.
Their T-shirts tonight featuring their great greeting in the dugout to one another.
Yeah.
Their quality handshake. It's on the shirt. There you see it on the front. People will be practicing that for years.
Right.
2 down. Here's Duda. Did a walk and he has struck out. No reason here to do anything but try for a home run. There are the T-shirts that were given out with all the different movements that go into that Machado Scope handshake. 0-1 pitch, breaking ball off speed, will miss.
You know, major league teams pretty fortunate nowadays to see so many young superstars in the game, but I think what they do is they kind of freshen things up. You know, that handshake. They're staying loose. They have a great time playing. A couple young guys playing baseball, and that's the way this game's supposed to be played. They're not showing anybody up. They're just having fun doing what they love to do. And it really hasn't gotten to them yet, the stresses that can build up in this ball game. So it's fun to see them having a good time.
They are doing that, and Ubaldo Jimenez finds a way to get that out. 6 strikeouts for him, but an RBI. Murphy got it. Granderson scored. 3-1 Mets. The Orioles are going to open our notebook to the wild card peeking, scoreboard watching time of season. The Rangers played today. They beat the Mariners 7-2. They're very much in the race for the wild card. You see Holland had a real good outing for Texas, and they used the long ball. Moreland, Napoli, Andrus all homered for the red-hot Texas team. The White Sox going to play the Angels tonight. The Angels in the running. Samaja goes against Weaver in that one. 7 out of 9 at home have been won by the Angels after a 1-6 record on the road. They've won the first 2 at home coming off the road trip.
Here's a look at the wild card standings. Toronto in the lead with 3.5 games. The Angels, Orioles just half game back, and Texas playing some really good baseball here recently. It's a game behind.
Ubaldo Jimenez back on with 6 strikeouts, 4 walks. Now hoping for some more offensive help. Mets able to get that run back, though. The Orioles got in the 4th, right back in the top of the 5th. That will be fouled away as The Orioles have Caleb Joseph in the 9 spot. Top of the order, Manny Machado to follow in the bottom half of the 5th inning.
Now, one thing that most managers look for in young pitchers is they slow the game down, minimize the damage. The Orioles have had Syndergaard on the ropes here. First inning, bases were loaded. Last inning, they were threatening. He's only been able to hold him, or only held him to 1 run. So coming up with a big pitch when needed, minimizing the damage here. Orioles want to continue to try to put the pressure on him.
One thing these young Met pitchers are learning early is how to pitch a complete ball game and stay focused, because they know they're not going to get many runs. Every ball game they get 4. That's a big output for the Mets. So these youngsters who are pitching for them, DeGrom, who pitched last night, Syndergaard was out there tonight, they know got to stay tight in the ball game, because it can get away from you in a hurry. As Harvey, 0-2 count. Mets have already announced, Terry Collins was talking about it yesterday, Syndergaard and Harvey are going to miss starts in September. They're going to pull them out of the rotation at least once, maybe twice. They still intend to win, obviously, but they want the guys available for the final 2 weeks of the season and want them ready for the postseason. And they're closing in on the number of innings that they want them to pitch this year. And if they just kept them in the rotation, they would exceed that before they got through the end of September. So Harvey on the bench, Syndergaard on the mound, of the 2 they've named so far that are coming out of the rotation for at least 1 start.
Yeah, so they really do have to find a way to keep them fresh and not overdo the innings. Harvey, the Tommy John surgery, they're going to be careful there.
Foul tipped into the mitt and held on to.
Steady diet of 2-seamers inside, a couple sliders away, and then ride that fastball to the top of the zone. Also just getting a piece, but Darno able to hang on. First out of the inning.
Talk about those 2 pitchers coming out. There's a former Oriole who's going to be involved in making that possible, and he's just been called up. That's Logan Verrett, who is pitching at AAA. So Verrett's come up, and they intend to use him both out of the pen and as a swingman starter. And they've got a lefty coming back, Steven Matz, who is going to be returning after a torn lat muscle. He's coming off the DL. So those 2 pitchers, they're saying, will be used to fill in spot starts for the Mets, for Harvey and Syndergaard.
Logan Verrett was brought into spring training as a Rule 5 pickup from the Mets, and Orioles didn't hold on to him, but Texas claimed him. He ended up pitching in the big leagues with Texas, and Texas let him go, and the Mets got him right back, and that was going to help them. So a couple stints in the big leagues here for Logan Verrett.
Trip around the globe for Logan. Manny Machado a double, and he is struck out. 0-2 count with 1 down. 3-1 ball game. Mets on top. And the pitch taken outside. Machado now with a 4-game hit streak. Continued here tonight. He's got 5 hits in 14 at bats against the Mets this year. He has picked up a home run against New York. 1-2 delivery on the way. Inside, just missed. One thing the fastball obviously is impressive by this 22-year-old, but he pitches.
Yeah, he really does.
He moves the ball around and he changes speeds.
Yes, he does. And I think really that's what's kind of held him back from being in the big leagues. He did have to work his way through last year, the full season in AAA. Always had the good stuff, but learning how to pitch. So he will have success at the major league level, and he is. Great command of all of his pitches right now, mixing it up. He cannot sit on one pitch.
And Wathan leaning out, watching. Boy, what a job he's got with this young pitching staff. It's got to be fun.
Oh, boy.
Work, but fun. You've got so much talent. 2-ball, 2-strike count. And that ball towards the middle is going to be a base hit. So Manny's on again. He'll make the big turn and stay. The Guards will get it in, and the Orioles. Manny Machado's 2 for 3 in the ball game, and this one comes with just 1 away. This Saturday, help launch the new 16 Orioles pet calendar supporting Barks, the Baltimore Animal Rescue and Care Shelter. You can enjoy Brad Brock, Zach Britton, Miguel Gonzalez, Kevin Gosman, J.J. Hardy, Matt Wieters. They'll be from 11 until 1 at Barks at 301 Stockholm Street near the ballpark. A special autograph session. You purchase a calendar, you get free autographs. Fans attending will have free parking in Lot J. For details and how to get your calendar, go to Orioles.com/petcalendar. Here is Parra with one away. A rebase in at third on the grass. That one goes to left. Confardo going back. He's got room. He'll make the catch. Confardo back there to get it. Hit right at him. This outfield, unlike what we've talked about with the Orioles, plays deep. When a ball's hit deep, they don't have very far to go all the way around. They tend to be back.
Yeah, they had to cover a lot of ground at Citi Field, their home park, so used to playing back. Pretty good speed out there with Vergara's Gold Glove center fielder. Anderson been playing the outfield for a long time. He knows how to do it.
Yeah, veteran who knows how to position himself and still has good speed. Adam Jones a double and the lone run scored. It came in an RBI base hit. Steve Clevenger brought him in the 4th inning. Now a runner at first base with 2 down. Throw over. Will Manny think about running here with 2 down and Adam at the plate? Base stealers are now 13 out of 14 successful against Syndergaard. Gibbons is ready if needed in the bullpen and may be coming on. Two away. Manny leaning and going. Showed bunt, takes it, no throw, stolen base. Boy, Syndergaard, really, if there's anything he's going to have to work on, it's that, isn't it?
Yeah, being a little bit quicker to the plate.
Orioles take advantage of it.
A lot of times pitchers don't trust themselves if they can't get that big knee kick. That's what slows them down. Manny leaning the whole way and easily stole that base uncontested.
16 out of 21 for Manny Machado. Scoring position. 1-0 delivery on the way. Adam Jones off the fist to short, right between the legs. Flores makes the throw. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. 5 complete. Final game against the Mets this season. Mets up by 2.
Of the game before adding to his team lead strikeout total. Good fastball there to get Conforto. Nasty split finger and then dotting a fastball down and away. Although that's some good stuff, but some base on balls hurt him in this ball game. You see his comparison. Went to the fastball quite a bit, but didn't quite have the command that we've been used to seeing with Ubaldo Jimenez. 5 innings pitched, 4 walks in this ball game, and 3 in the 4th inning to jack up that pitch count. Now it's time for AT&T call to the bullpen. AT&T, proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles. AT&T mobilizing your world. Well, Michael Givens who has been about as good as you're going to see a young pitcher be out of this Orioles bullpen. 64% fastballs, low to mid-90s with the heater. Sweeping sliders, 1.08 earned run average. 11 punch-outs in 8 1/3 innings of work. Holding opponents down to just a 138 batting average.
He will appear on consecutive days, as he worked in the ball game last night, an inning plus. He ended up being charged with a couple of runs, only 1 earned, 1 hit, 1 strikeout in the inning worked. Uribe deep to left field, back at the wall on the warning track. Rudy puts it away, and Uribe is retired. 6th inning, 1 down. On Saturday, don't miss your chance to meet O's second baseman Jonathan Schoop. He'll sign autographs for fans at the Modell's Sporting Goods Store in Perring Plaza Shopping Center from noon until 1. That's this Saturday, noon to 1 at Modell's, East Joppa Road in Parkville. For details, go to the list at the Orioles community events at oriolesreach.com. Ubaldo 12 for 22 in first pitch strikes, a little lower than what he would have liked. It got him into trouble. Darno fouls that one first base side and out of play. He's walked and scored and hit into a fielder's choice. 4 walks surrendered by Ubaldo in the ball game. He got away with all but 1 of those scoring.
Ubaldo, the first half of the season, was so aggressive in the strike zone early, really good at getting ahead and going to work, but couldn't find it. Tonight's ball game, regroup the troops, come back and find more consistency here down the stretch.
25-year-old reliever, former position player, converted, started pitching 2013 pro level, and really has made it work. 2 down on the strikeout.
Yeah, tough to pick him up. Some deception from the side, but he turns his whole back to the hitter. And then a nice sweeping slider located well down and away. Caleb Joseph's glove is not even going to move. Perfect pitch from Givens.
Givens was a shortstop when converted. Don't tell that to Adam Jones, please. Because Adam Jones wants to play shortstop. If he hears shortstops can pitch, the next thing you want to know, he'll want to be a starting pitcher.
Well, Dave Steve used to be an outfielder.
That's right.
A pretty good pitcher.
Michael Conforto up. He has drawn a walk, struck out. We had a note on the last road trip about a guy who converted. Goes to second base. Scope's got it. Conforto is retired. His name was Stan Musial. He got hurt pitching, turned into a hitter. What do you think? Our Mazda duo-ups, Davis, Scope, and Clevenger. Mets on top by 2.
This 2-game series, Murphy gets a hold of the slider off Jimenez and hits the home run to get the Mets on the board first. Duda trying to steal the base, but Jonathan Schoop comes up with an amazing athletic play to record the out. Clevenger staying red hot since being recalled. 7 base hits. This is a clutch one. Get the Orioles a little bit closer. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
Great ball game underway. Syndergaard with the 6 strikeouts and 2 walks. Orioles got to him for the RBI in the 4th inning on the leadoff double by Jones and Clevenger's base hit. That has been it. Talking about Chris Davis, you see, strikeout, first plate appearance, 9 pitches seen, 3 foul balls. Got a walk the second time, 9 pitches seen, 3 foul balls. I mean, these two have really battled. So what happens here? First pitch, a base hit. Anderson will chase it down. It'll be off the wall. There's another leadoff double. Well, the Orioles get a quick chance at it here in the bottom half of the 6th inning.
Another opportunity. Davis picking up his 20th double. Take a look at the Nissan pitch track. The changeup, 88 miles an hour. The movement running off the plate. Well, Davis keeping the bat head through the zone. The great extension. Reaches out and hooks one over Duda's head. Great speed by the big man. Easily cruising into second base.
Here's the man we were talking about. Logan Verrett up in the bullpen. And a swing and a miss on that great off-speed delivery. Boy, Jonathan Scope has seen a few of those pitches.
Yes, he has. And these are quality breaking balls. Located well on the outside corner or just off.
6 hits now for the Orioles. 0-1 delivery. Another one. As they say in this game, till you hit it, I'm going to keep throwing it.
92 pitches thrown here by Syndergaard. You think with a fastball that's touching 100 miles an hour, that might be all he throws, but no, great secondary pitches. He's been running up there.
Tries to get him to chase one outside. That one only at 81. And a 1-ball 2-strike count. Clevenger to follow. Orioles have actually out-hit the Mets by 1. But the Murphy home run in the 1st inning, Flores RBI single, Murphy's RBI single in the 5th have given them the 3-1 lead, and Syndergaard's been able to hold it. Outfield shaded to right, 1-2 delivery on the way. That ball blasted, but will it stay fair? Near the pole, and goodbye, home run! Jonathan Scope! 2 RBI shot, and this game is tied.
Syndergaard going to the well one too many times with the breaking ball. Backs up on him, and Scope takes advantage, and there's a look at that handshake.
Number 9 for Jonathan Scope, 24 RBIs.
They're all doing it in there.
And here is Steve Clevenger. He'll take it for a strike.
Take a look at Scope's home run. Now sliders away, away, away. D'Arnaud setting up, down and away, but look at the location. Ends up on the middle third, hanging there. It's a cement mixer, and Jonathan Scope makes a pay. One of the rare mistakes we've seen in this ball game.
Ground ball to the middle, diving underneath the glove of Murphy, and a base hit. So Clevenger continues hot. He is 2 for 3 in the ball game, and the Orioles' first 3 here in the 6th inning have reached, and that will be it for Syndergaard. He will come out of the ball game reaching 96 pitches in the game, and the Orioles will get to the Mets bullpen. They've tied the game up at 3-3. A runner on, nobody out in the 6th.
From tonight to the season, well, money more breaking balls. I had a good feel for it, but one huge mistake knocks him out of this ball game. A hanging slider to Jonathan Schoop. 5 innings pitched to 3 earned runs, and it's time for a little relief. For your car, too, visit Jiffy Lube for regular oil changes and help prevent damage and wear to your engine. Jiffy Lube, drive in today. Well, Logan Barrett coming in out of the Mets bullpen. Fastball 57% of the time, works in the low 90s. Breaking ball has a curve and slider, and the change 11% of the time. 2.95 earned run average. 21 1/3 innings of work this season with 15 strikeouts, 8 walks. And opponents down to a 197 batting average. Lefties just 167. Now, Logan was in spring training with the Orioles, and Buck Showalter spoke very highly of him. And you see 2 different faces there. Syndergaard knocked out of the game by Jonathan Schoop. A 2-run shot to tie it up.
And now the Orioles are going to try and get the lead for the first time in this 2-game set. Runner on at first and nobody out. And the Orioles, J.J. Hardy. Runner at first base. Hardy takes one. That one to the gap. It's way back. Diving. A great catch. Lagares hauls it in. Runner back to first base. A magnificent diving catch in center. That's what a Gold Glove is all about.
Won the Gold Glove last season. Unbelievable closing speed here. J.J. Hardy to the gap. There's a huge hole. But the last 30 feet, he comes out of nowhere and makes a sensational diving play. I didn't think there was any chance he was getting to this baseball. Nice effort by Lagares.
That could be a game saver. Logan Barrett looks out. Thank you. 1 down. Henry Urrutia. He goes after the first one and fouls it off. Well, that defensive play as good as it gets right there, and in a key moment. Clevenger was all the way down to second, ready to head home if that ball goes by. It saves a run and an RBI double. 0-1 delivery on the way, and that one will go to left. Conforto will come on and put that one away. And there are 2 down. Barrett gets a couple of outs here. Last pitch July 5th at the major league level against the Dodgers. And he went 3 innings, gave up just 1 hit. Up and down, recalled yesterday by the Mets. After he'd been up a couple of times, once in July, once in June. He's gone 2 or more innings, 8 of the 10 outings that he's had at the majors this year. Here's Caleb Joseph. Joseph has flied out and struck out. Orioles, the big home run by Jonathan Schoop tied the game up here in the 6th inning. And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Brian Mattis, second time up.
He's all by himself. He was just happy with everybody a few minutes ago, and now he's just all by himself.
Sometimes you just celebrate quietly. The pitch will be taken up and in. John Riffey, our Maryland lottery contestant, probably is not sitting down right now. $500 for the Schoop home run.
Jonathan, a rough night, uncharacteristically. Schoop, a great defender with a couple errors in last night's ball game. Nice bounce back game.
Chopper, fair. And Joseph is retired. Darno made the nice play from the plate, but after the double picked up by Davis, Jonathan Schoop puts one into the seats. Orioles celebrate 3-3 after 6. 3 ball game, real good one underway. Gary Thorne along with Mike Bordick. Thought a good point made by the skipper today. Buck Showalter was talking about Jonathan Schoop. Said, listen, he's only playing in his 46th game out of 119 the Orioles have played. He's right now just getting into game shape.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, usually it takes a little bit of time. He missed so much time with that knee injury. So nice to see him kind of settling in, though. I mean, he's just got over 100 at bats. He's swinging the bat very well. Typically, that's the hardest thing, coming back from an injury to get your timing back at the major league level. So one off game last night, and it seemed like there was a little bit of a panic that set in. But Jonathan Schoop is surrounded by people that care about him. They get him right back into the ball game, and a nice game so far.
So the starters are non-decisioned in this ball game. 3-3, Givens on the mound for the Orioles, working in his second inning as we go to the 7th. Flores up, an RBI base hit, and he is flied out. Syndergaard gives up the 3 runs on 8 hits over 5+, and Jimenez gives up 3 runs on 5 hits over 5. Both pitchers struggling giving up home runs coming into the game, and did so in this one. Murphy got a home run in the first inning for the Mets, and Syndergaard gave up that big 2-run homer to Jonathan Schoop in the 6th inning.
Yeah, Syndergaard now the 6 home runs he's given up in his last 4 games.
So he is still going to be winless on the road. That one will be foul back. 0-2 count. Hansel Robles up in the bullpen. And Brian Mattis, he's going to be coming in because this is the 3rd time he's up to throw. The first time was just a couple of warm-up tosses, and he sat back down. 0-2 delivery. It'll be down low. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Givens retired the side in order in the 6th inning.
We were talking about the bullpen magic that Buck Showalter has used here the past few seasons with the Orioles, and I talked with him a little bit today about that, and he said he's had such experience, and the reason he gets that, it isn't necessarily just from his pitching coaches. He goes around and talks to the pitchers. He finds out how they're feeling. He wants to know what they get upset about.
That ball hit deep to left field. It is way back at the wall, and goodbye home run. Flores delivers a go-ahead homer. It is 4-3 Mets. Their 2nd home run of the ball game.
Flores has been a pleasant surprise to the Mets this year with his power. 12 home runs from the shortstop. He gets a slider that stays in that inner 3rd. Sees it well. When you have pitchers that go from the side, and you can recognize that spin soon enough, if it starts at you, that's the one you pull the trigger on. The one that starts on the plate and typically break off. He gets on the right one. Give the Mets the lead back.
Well, right away the Mets answer. That's what they've done in this game. No sooner do the Orioles get close or tie than the Mets get one right back. Pitch is taken for a strike. Both home runs tonight, the one by Murphy and the one by Flores, have been hit by Mets who have not had a home run against the Orioles prior to tonight. 0-1 delivery on the way, and that one will go the other way, fouled. Lagares an 0 for 2 in the ball game. He is struck out and flied out. Now, we said this is what the Mets are doing right now to win ball games. While they're not scoring a lot of runs, they are picking up home runs. They've got 113 home runs, including the 2 tonight, 6th in the league. Pitch will just miss by Givens, and a 1 ball 2 strike count.
95 off the bat.
He saw that one.
Yes, he did. He picked it up soon.
1-2 delivery on the way. Pitch down and away. Somehow he gets the end of the bat on it. And a 1 ball 2 strike count. Well, these 2 games have been battles. In fact, the games this season have been battles. In New York, the Orioles lost 3-2 and 5-1, but both were tight games. 1-2 pitch back over the screen and foul.
Gar's putting together a nice at bat here. Givens throwing some good pitches, keeping them alive. Givens gets ahead and then starts working the perimeter here. Making some quality pitches, but nice job.
Down low, Joseph able to hang on to that. Givens giving up the first home run he has surrendered this season on that homer by Flores. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Outfield's moved in shallow. Ball in the air to center is going to cause a turnaround. But that's why he plays shallow. He can get back on him. Adam Jones. One away. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. But Showalter on his way out, shaking his head. He goes to the bullpen. That's all he wanted to get out of Givens, and now Mattis.
Ball 55%. Pretty good with it, spotting them both in and out of the zone. Breaking ball 30% of the time. The big curve and the change. 2.33 earned run average. 47 punch outs. 18 walks. Mattis has been solid here recently, holding opponents down to a 209 batting average. Always struck tough against the lefties. Just 139 this season. Fly ball percentage up to 70% for Mattis.
And Brian will work against Granderson, top of the order. He has doubled and scored, grounded out and lined out. One down, bases are empty. Curtis Granderson has continued his run against the Orioles. He's now hit in 7 consecutive ball games against the O's. That 5th inning double, he was brought home on a single by Murphy. And the pitch will be taken away. For Granderson against the left-handers this season, 149. 282 off right-handers, and he's had 101 at bats against lefties. 1-1 delivery on the way. Breaking ball. He was frozen by it, but it missed.
Yeah, well, Granderson, a pretty unique hitting style. Gets in his load position already. A very subtle move to get him energized, and then locks in. He's let the bat head fly a couple times.
And that'll go into the shift. Jonathan Scope. 2 away here in the 7th. 4-3 Met lead. Murphy coming up. Home run number 9. First inning. Base hit, RBI in the 5th. In between, a strikeout. And a real good series and real good season against the Orioles. He's had 4 hits, 7 at bats in this 2-game set. And he'll foul that one back. On the year, 6 hits, 14 at bats, and 5 RBIs against the Orioles.
Moves around a little bit in the infield, has some versatility, playing some third base Of course, David Wright's been on the shelf, but he should be coming back soon for the Mets.
They hope to have him back next Monday. They had hoped they were going to get him in this weekend series coming up against the Phillies, but not to be. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Mattis' second appearance against the Mets this season. He's worked 1 inning previously, gave up nothing. Gets the ground ball. Hardy's got it. He'll make the play, and that'll retire the side. But a run in on a hit. Home run by Flores has given him the lead. 7th inning stretch time. Machado, Power, Jones. Coming up, our Honda do-ups. Look at the night so far here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, where the Mets have a 4-3 advantage. 7th inning stretch time. The fans settling in into the bullpen.
Yeah, Robles coming in out of the Mets bullpen. Fastball 74% of the time. It's a good heater. 93 to 98 with the fastball. Breaking ball is a hard slider and a change. He only uses 1% of the time. 3.86 earned run average. 35 innings. 34 punch outs, 14 walks. He's picked up 3 wins, holding opponents down to a 200 batting average. Is a fly ball pitcher. 70% of his outs in the air.
Just turned 25 years old. Had been a starter in the minor leagues, converted last July to a reliever. He'll work against the Orioles for the first time. Here is Manny Machado leading it off. Bottom of the 7th inning, 4-3 ball game. Machado with a double and a single. He has also struck out. 4-game hit streak for Manny as the Orioles will go after it again, as the Mets have responded each time the O's have come back. He's taking the pitch all the way that time, and a 1 ball 1 strike count.
Well, important to obviously get on base, do something to get that 1 run back in here.
Watching that one, and a 2 ball 1 strike count. Logan Verrett worked an inning, retired all 3 batters. He is the pitcher of record right now. See that little breeze blowing out towards center. 2 ball 1 strike count. Uribe guards the line at third. Machado takes the pitch, and it goes to 3-1. Robles worked against Pittsburgh over the weekend on the 16th. He worked 3 innings in that game. Gave up only 1 hit and no runs. He came up from AAA Las Vegas on June 20. Made his debut against the Yankees. 3-1 delivery on the way. Machado will pop it up. Souvenir back. Full count.
Hey, you had mentioned he was a starter in the minor leagues up until last year. Performance wasn't quite there, so they said, hey, move him into the bullpen. And like many starters, their velocity kicks up, and he really settled in out there. And boom, called him up here, and he's done a nice job.
3 ball, 2 strike count. Manny with the outfield deep against him. And he'll chase one up. Foul tip. Nice play. Held on to. Darno got that in the webbing.
Right into the top of the zone, and we've seen Darno come up with some big plays back there. Here holding on to the high fastball. Machado just getting a piece of it. Darno reaching up. Just touches it right up into the pocket.
Well, Robles gets the strikeout to begin his performance. Fiers had a base hit and has flied out to left field twice. 6-game hit streak. Gerardo Parra with Uribe again in. Uribe at third base has played in against him in all of his at bats, trying to take away the bunt. Parra will take the pitch down low for a ball.
Some opportunities over there. Parra's a couple solid shots to left field. Just to get one on the ground, sneak it by Uribe. He's trying to take that bunt away.
Watches that one. That's going to be just a little bit outside. 2-0. Two-0 count, 1 away. Parra goes after it, fouls it off. Hard line drive, first base side. Ducking out of the way with his always agile physique. Wayne Kirby.
Look out, Curb. Adam Jones liking that. Bring it on, right, Curb?
2-1. Uribe still in at third base despite the swings. And Parra will pop that one up to center. Nagaris goes back. And he's got it. And there are 2 down. You can follow the Orioles wherever you are. MLB.com at bat, #1 app for live baseball. At bat up to the moment, any moment. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replays, broadcast, statcast, and more. Get MLB.com at your smartphone or tablet. 36,165. 36,165. The announced attendance tonight. A couple thousand more than for the ball game last night. 2 really good crowds to see the Orioles and Mets in interleague play. Minnesota will come in here for a 4-game set over the weekend, starting tomorrow night. Jones goes after it deep to left center field. Fans are up for a souvenir. And goodbye, home run into the bullpen. Adam Jones delivers the long ball, and we're tied again, this time at 4.
Another clutch home run by Adam Jones. This Orioles team has been battling back here on this homestand, coming from behind. A few of their wins, they're not giving up either. And Jones tying the game with his 23rd dinger of the season.
So both ball clubs relying on the home run. And Adam Jones of the Orioles ties this one up. Same way Scope had done in the 6th inning. 4-4 ball game here in the bottom of the 7th. Here's Chris Davis trying to untie it. Fouls it back.
Robles' best pitch, the heater. This one stays on that inner third. Adam Jones gets to it cleanly. Covers the baseball. Great extension. That one's got altitude and depth. 99 miles an hour off the bat.
64 RBIs now for Adam, and Davis fouls another one back. John Riffey, our Maryland lottery contestant, another $500. The Orioles home run. And we've got ourselves a finish for this one. 0-2 count on Chris. Double, walk, and a strikeout. He has scored a run. And the pitch will be taken up high. Orioles, of course, have been up around 47% of their runs coming off home runs all season long. They have now hit 159 home runs. That is fourth most in the league. Darren O'Day in the bullpen. And Davis will foul it off. He is trying to launch one right here with 2 down and nobody on, 7th inning.
Oh, he really wants to see him do it as well. Slider down at the bottom of the zone right there. Three hooks foul, but Davis has been doing a lot of damage here recently. A couple quality pitches there at the bottom of the strike zone.
Foul back again. Adams home run. That's the 15th he's had here at Camden Yards. So 15 of the 23 have been hit in his home ballpark. Chris Davis, of course, has been doing the same thing. Chris 21 home runs at home, 13 on the road. So both liking this yard. Put the ball out of. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Robles delivers to Chris, and he'll foul that one back too.
It's battling off there. And Adam Jones saying, "Oh, I backspun that one." Sure did. At the altitude. Just kept flying.
Too bad he doesn't enjoy playing, isn't it? 1 ball, 2 strike count. Shift on here against Chris. Davis will take it. And ooh la la, close.
Yeah, slider just missing possibly up at the top of the zone there. Give us another shot.
Two and two to Chris.
And you see the pitch track working the fastballs away. Favorite side, that arm side fastball, not very comfortable throwing into the lefties.
2-2 delivery. Davis will take it. Robles has given up 4 home runs now in 35 2/3 innings. So subject to the long ball and the appearances he's had with the Mets. Jones getting that last one. 3-2, 2 down. Right-hander's full count delivery, and he wins the battle. Robles gets the strikeout, but the Orioles have the inning. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on, 7 complete. Adam Jones rocking one with 2 away, his 23rd, ties it at 4. On Masson is brought to you by the Maryland Fire Chiefs and Maryland State Firemen's Associations. Email mdfirevolunteer@gmail.com to volunteer with your local fire, rescue, and EMS. And by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Have you tried great tasting 5-Hour Energy lately? Great ball game underway tonight here At Camden Yards, 4-4 the score. Jones has tied it up on the home run. So Brian Mattis now becomes the pitcher of record for the Orioles. He will work against Cespedes. Duda, then Uribe will be due up. Cespedes has had a home run off Brian Mattis. 1 for 2 against him in his career. Orioles shift that infield around to play him to pull. Base hit, 2 ground ball outs. One of them turned into a double play off the bat of Cespedes tonight. That's outside. Brian falls behind 2-0.
We have Brock and O'Day warming up in the Orioles bullpen. And Mattis come up with some good pitches here on Cespedes. He falls behind. There's the changeup. Has been his equalizer against righties.
2-0 delivery on the way over the top of the breaking ball. That misses. Cespedes very patient. There is Tyler Clippard in the bullpen for the Mets. Worked in the game last night. 3-0 count. Green light or not? Yes. Takes it. It's a strike. Only because of his power.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you.
But he didn't get one. That was a pretty good pitch.
Sure.
Yeah. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Trying to do it right there. Over the top of it at 90. 3-2.
Good fastball. Located very well. He's got to come up with the payoff pitch here.
Three-two delivery on the way, and Cespedes reaching will foul that one back.
Another well located fastball. That is a key for most pitchers. And be able to locate, drive it down to the bottom of the zone. Brian working it in and out here to get back into the count.
You have Duda left-handed, then Uribe right-hander. Due up here in the inning. But this is a big at bat leading it off. 3-2 delivery on the way, and Cespedes again turns it into the screen. So the count stays 3-2. Orioles trying to avoid a season sweep by the Mets, who have won the 3 played this year. Orioles with a loss last night, now 36 and 21. Real good home record. 3-2 delivery, and Brian Mattis wins the battle.
Well, that's a great job by Brian Mattis. Tough right-handed hitter here, working the fastball. The 3-2 count, 4 fastballs in a row. This one riding to the top of the zone. Cespedes can't get to it. Huge first out. Good look at Mattis's delivery there.
He gets the out on Cespedes. That'll bring Duda. He has struck out twice and drawn a walk. 0 for 1 against Brian. The infield shifts the other way, leaving Manny Machado on the left side. Jonathan Scope deep in the outfield at second.
Yeah, Manny shortened up just a little bit. Respecting the bunt here.
Uribe on deck. 1-0 count. We're in the 8th inning. And a check swing. Held up on it, I think. Yep. Larry Barnett down at third base.
Good breaking ball there from Brian Mattis. Certainly wanted that pitch. Good pitcher's pitch. Maybe just dropped down on the bottom of the strike zone.
To watch how things have gone since the All-Star break, I think fair to say, Mike, that Brian Mattis gaining confidence of his manager with each outing.
Absolutely.
He is moving up in the positions of the ball game that he's pitching in. The tight games, important outs. Whereas much of the first half of the season, he was in late games where there was a substantial lead one way or the other.
Well, you're right. And Buck has shown great patience with him and kind of subtly moved him into more high leverage situations. And
face right-handers like Cespedes.
Sure.
Off speed pitch, breaking ball pitch at 90, and it went in for a strike. 3-1.
No, he fell behind Cespedes. He's got to do a nice job and come back to get Duda here.
3 ball, 1 strike count. It will be foul. A couple souvenirs down in those seats, so there aren't many hit. Tonight we've had 2. Chris Davis put one down there. They applaud one another when they get a souvenir.
Yeah, it's a celebration in
That's
that section.
a long way down there. So the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Matus. That one in the air left center where they weren't playing him. That'll fall into the gap and it'll go to the wall. Going to second base is Duda. He is in with a double on a 3-2 pitch.
Duda making a pretty good adjustment there. 3-2 count. Good breaking ball.
And as we promised earlier in the game, we've selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to host Couch Cam. You might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. McShowalter is on his way out. Bullpen is ready. Matus will be responsible for the runner on at second base. And here comes Darren O'Day to pitch to Uribe.
Ball 55% of the time. Of course, the sinker in, the riser to the top of the zone. The sweeping slider 44% of the time. Just a 117 earned run average, 59 punch outs, 11 walks in 46 and a third innings of work. Couple saves, 5 wins on the year for O'Day. The opponent's down to a 200 batting average, right? He's just 179. He's a fly ball pitcher, 64% of his outs in the air. Every runner stranded, 14 of 19 at 74%. Darren O'Day, a solid number there. Of course, Duda standing out on second base after that double off Matus.
Well, here's the veteran, 15 years in the majors, Juan Uribe. He will stand in with the potential go-ahead run on at second base. Uribe 0 for 2 and a walk in the game. Has faced O'Day only once in his career, 0 for 1. Darren's delivery, and you can see he's faced him only once, because that's what hitters contend with when they just are not used to that delivery.
See the runners in scoring position. That's 2 for 4. Orioles 3 for 9.
Uribe, veteran, now 36 years old. Check swing, ground ball to first. Played to the bag by Davis to record the out. Duda will move over to third base, but there are 2 away.
Nice pitch, and when you're not used to seeing a Darren O'Day slider, you're going to be all in between. Uribe is there. Easy ground ball to Chris Davis for the second out.
Darno coming up. The catcher's drawn a walk and scored. Has struck out it into a fielder's choice. The game has gone back and forth. Home run first inning Murphy. The Mets jumped out to that quick 1-0 lead. They added another in the 4th inning. Flores a single made it 2-0. Orioles got 1 bottom of the 4th. Mets got 1 top of the 5th. Orioles responded with a 2-run homer by Jonathan Scope. That one would tie the ball game up. Mets came right back. home run Flores in the 7th, and Jones home run in the bottom of the 7th. So the Orioles have battled to tie it, have not had the lead. It's 4-4. Darno will take the pitch on the outside corner for a strike from O'Day. Runner at third base, 2 away. Top of the 8th inning. Potential go ahead. Duda. The responsibility of Brian Mattis. 1 ball, 1 strike count. O'Day goes up. 1-2.
That slider can really slow hitters down. They see the ball, so they wait a little bit longer. That's when Darren O'Day exposes them to the high fastball. 87, 88 miles an hour, but really looks like about 97 or 98 to hitters as it rides through the top of the zone.
1-2 the count. And up again and got him. O'Day comes on to get the strikeout. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th at 4. We get a series with the Twins, 4 games as Miguel Gonzalez takes the mound against Tyler Duffy. Our coverage on MASN, 6:30 O's Extra, presented by Southwest, followed by our game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on MASN.
We'll take a look ahead here. The Twins swept the O's in a 3-game series in Minnesota and outscored them 17-8. They were swinging it, and the starters were dealing as well. 2-0 record with a 2.33 earned run average. Tyler Duffy making his 3rd career start against Miguel Gonzalez. Miguel looking for his 10th win of the year. Tyler Clippard now out of the Mets bullpen. Fastball 45% of the time. Pretty good heater. Landed 94 miles an hour. Occasional breaking ball. There's the curve and slider, but the changeup. Good split finger. His big time out pitch. 2.76 earned run average. 42 punch outs. 25 walks. 49 innings of work. Opponents hitting just 177. Lefties way down to 118. Fly ball pitcher 79% of the time in the air. Giving up 4 home runs.
Clippard appeared in the ballgame last night, charged with 2 runs on a hit and an inning in the 3rd. Gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, and they would both score after he left the ballgame. He had a chance for a save in the game last night. Here is Jonathan Scope. Big home run, 6th inning, his 9th of the year, 2 RBIs. He has grounded out, struck out, and a swing and a foul tip at the plate off Tyler Clippard. Bottom half of the 8th inning, ball game is tied. A lot of 1-run games played by these teams. The Mets are 20-20. 1-run ball games. The Orioles 16-19. We'll see if something gets added to that side of the coin tonight. Overhand pitch is going to miss down low, 1-1.
Clippard fastball changeup combination. A couple changeups to Jonathan Scope there. Located pretty well at the bottom of the zone. He sells the change with good arm speed.
Uribe right along the line at third. Ball fouled back. One to try and drive, and a 1-ball 2-strike count on Jonathan. So Scope coming back with the big hit in this ball game. Get this thing tied up 3-3. Jones tied it 4-4. Both home runs, RBI. Steve Clevenger, 4th inning on a base hit. 1-2 delivery, and that'll be up high. Murphy's had a couple of RBIs for the Mets. Flores, 2 RBIs, a single and a home run. Each team has had to go into their bullpen 3 deep. 2-2 delivery on the way. Tried to hold that bat back, fouls it off. Talking to himself on that one. 2-2.
Yeah, another changeup there. Tried to stay back on it. Jonathan Scope, a 2-run shot, tied the ball game up off Syndergaard. A little hanging breaking ball. Wanted it down and away, stayed on that end of third, and he made him pay.
Here's the 2-2 delivery to him, and that's fouled back. So the Orioles now have hit 5 home runs against the Mets this year. The Mets have hit 6 against the O's. Adam Jones, a bubble blowing fan watching. 7th pitch of the at bat. 2-2. Out in front, off the end, left field. Conforto is back and will put it away. 1 down, bottom half of the 8th inning.
And that's just missing. Clippard, nice job getting Jonathan Scope out front, but Scope's still strong enough that he catches that one clean. It's deep up in the stands. It's too much altitude on that one.
Steve Clevenger, 2 singles, an RBI, and he is flied out. So Steve continues with his hot bats. It's being called up, but Showalter has said he's going to continue to carry the 3 catchers: Wieters, Joseph, Clevenger. 1 for the offense, 2 because they can play in different positions. While Caleb will catch, he could DH. He is catching tonight. Matt Wieters can play first base, can DH or catch. Steve Clevenger can play first base, DH or catch. So he likes the offense they bring, and they can be moved around. 0-1 delivery on the way, will be outside.
And Caleb's no slouch in the infield either. Just ask him. He can play some middle infield and first base.
You soon will have Adam Jones at short.
Right. Zach Britton out there in the Orioles pen.
Why is it players always want to play a position they don't play? It's always the case. Well, pitchers only want to hit. 1-1 pitch on the way. I guess it's just the fun of it.
Right.
2 ball, 1 strike count. Recalled on the 14th a few days ago, and has picked up 7 hits in 17 at bats. 2 ball, 1 strike count from Tyler Clippard. Clevenger will take it for a strike.
I was thinking the fastball there. I think his off-speed pitches certainly help his fastball play up. There's some deception there as he throws that front arm up in the air, kind of blocking everything with his glove, and that arm coming through.
2-2 got him. So Clippard gets a strikeout, 2 away in the 8th.
And a good change up there, located very well, staying away from Clevenger. It's his spot. See the circle change grip. Turns it over a little on the end to give it a little fade action.
Well, don't you think a man on his birthday deserves a home run, a game winner, game-winning RBI?
I do.
I think J.J. Hardy kind of like that as a birthday gift for himself. 2 down, nobody on. Hardy puts it up in the air to left. Some wishes you get, hey, some you don't. Conforto puts it away, and Clippard gets a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 9th. Ball game tied at 4. Madison brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Beautiful night, great game. 4-4, there's your line. 4-9-0 for the Orioles, 4-7-0 for the Mets. We go to the 9th inning.
I was looking to put up a 0, so they bring their closer in, Zach Britton, second most saves in the American League with 29. Take a look at his pitch arsenal. 91% fastballs, only 9% curveballs, but it's a pretty good pitch. 1.84 earned run average. Has 3 wins on the year to go along with those 29 saves in his 31 opportunities. 56 punch outs, holding opponents to just a 212 average. Lefties just 104. Ground ball pitcher, I'll say 80% of the outs on the ground.
He will face Kadire, who's going to be the pinch hitter to lead off the top of the 9th inning. Michael Kadire will take over in the Conforto spot. He went 0 for 2 and a walk in the ball game. Kadire had a base hit in 4 at-bats in the ball game last night. He DH'd. So Kadire against Zach Britton. And the fastball will be away. Phillies beat Toronto 7-4 today. Encarnacion had a 1 for 4 RBI, but Jeff Francoeur had 2 RBIs, 1 for 3 for the Phillies. As Mark Burley lasted only 4 innings, 4 runs, 7 hits. Morgan gets the win. A couple of runs, 5 hits over 7. The Phillies 7, Toronto 4.
That Toronto pitching staff. I mean, we knew their offense was going to be tough to deal with, but their pitching staff's gone on a heck of a roll here recently. Burley especially.
That's the first bad start he's had in a long while. That's going to be a pinch hit single. So Kadire finds one up that he can get. And here in the 9th, he is on with a single. Now let's take a look at our notebook on this date in baseball history. 1951, Eddie Goodell, who was 43 inches tall, walked in his only major league appearance. Major League Baseball ruled out the use of such players after that attempt by Mr. Veck, as in Rec, brought it to the majors. And Steve Stone, our own Stone Edge, won his 20th game of the season. On this date in 1980, he would go on to win 25 games that season. Stoney.
And the Cy Young, right?
Yes. Here is Flores. Already has had a big ball game. His 12th home run in the 7th inning. RBI single in the 4th. He is 2 for 3. Leadoff man on. We'll see how Terry Collins wants to play this. Lagares, their center fielder, number 9 hitter, is up next. Machado's even with the bag, but not really playing bunt here. 1-0. Flores will take the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Flores against the left-handers, good numbers, 296. Over 50 points higher against the lefties than the righties. Kadire short lead at first, not a speedster. Swing and a miss, tailed away.
Great pitch, 97 miles an hour. Great late movement. Located well down and away. The only time Britton's fastball ever flattens out is when it's elevated. Down in that lower third, and it's pretty much, well, I'm not going to say unhittable, but very tough to square it up.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way. Looped foul. Zach Britton has never appeared against the Mets. This is number 1, which usually is good for the pitcher.
Yeah, they can't be too used to seeing arms like Zach Britton. Short arm, turbo sinker, mid-90s.
Flores, 1 ball, 2 strike count. Power particularly shallow in right field, as is Jones in center. That ball particularly fouled off.
It was a good breaking ball, and Flores stays on it. The only thing you can do is chasing his kneecap, pulls it up into the upper deck, foul.
A 1-2 count. Here's Kadire. One-two delivery on the way. Ground ball, second base. Jonathan, 1. Hardy He gets the double play.
That's what Zach Britton does. Roll ground balls. One of these guys on the infield pick it up. Best defense in the game. Scope and Hardy. As clean as you're going to see there. Much double play in the 9th inning here. Scope on to Hardy. And you see the quick turn there. When Hardy needs to be athletic, watch him go. Kadire coming in to get a piece of him. Gets his feet up and out of the way, and still the strong, accurate throw to Davis.
The veteran can do it. And Hardy and Scope turn 2. 2 down, 9th inning. Juan Lagares up. Hardy had a great birthday comment. He was asked, how do you feel playing between these 2 young stars, Machado and Scope? And his response was, old.
All right. Man.
He is their mentor, each of them.
Absolutely.
Gives him great credit for their defensive improvements at the major league level. 0-1 count. That one literally hit the plate. Britton's got to wait for it. No play. He had the runner in the way, so rather than risk throwing it and perhaps giving a runner second base, he held on to it.
Well, Lucky Britton and Caleb Joseph didn't collide. The chopper off the plate. We saw this the other night. Nothing leaving the infield and picking up some base hits. There, Britton taking it away. When he receives the ball, though, he ends up in the baseline, so no chance to throw. Wise decision there by Britton either. There you go. Caleb coming out. He got a much better angle, but Britton very aggressive on this ball.
So with 2 away here in the 9th inning, Lagares delivers the infield hit. Each team 9 hits in the ball game. Guy you don't want up, Granderson, is at the plate. He's had a double in the ball game tonight, 1 for 4, and has scored a run. 7-game hit streak that he has put up against the Orioles. Infield shift on against him. 2 down. Granderson will take the pitch, and it is a strike. Well, that little infield hit creates an opportunity for the Mets.
And really one of the most frustrating things about watching Zach Britton at times, they can chop those balls, get those weak infield hits, put some pressure on this team.
Had the runner going that time. Lagares took off for second base at 2 down. Count now 2 strikes on Granderson. The interested spectator at the end of the bench. Oh, 2. Runner not going, and the pitch is outside for a ball. Granderson, during his 7-game hit streak against the Orioles, hitting .364, 5 home runs, 6 RBIs during that streak. 1-2 the count. Runner not going again. Put up in the air. Shallow center. Jones was shallow. Plenty of time to get there. Ooh, tailed away, but he makes the catch. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. Bottom of the 9th inning. Big double play, 7th for Britton, got him out of the inning.
score here as we get ready for the bottom of the ninth.
It is. The Orioles have done it again. They've had to come from behind to tie this ball game in the bottom of the 7th on the 23rd home run by Adam Jones this season. They go to the bottom of the 9th, the chance to walk it off right here.
We'll hear from Buck Showalter and Orioles stars of the game when we begin O's Extra postgame. But right now, bottom of the 9th inning, tied at 4. Let's go back upstairs to Gary and Mike.
All right, Tom Rick, let's see how this one is going to end up. To the bullpen, these teams have had to go 4-4, bottom of the 9th, and the Mets will do it again.
Carlos Torres coming out of the Mets pen. The fastball 83% of the time. Now he does have a cut fastball with his go-to heater, the breaking ball. The curveball. Torres 3.64 earned run average, 41 punch-outs, 13 walks in 47 innings of work. And opponents to a 263 batting average and up 3 home runs. I think the lose, talk about high leverage situations. He was used as a setup man, and now he's been kind of slotted in more the low leverage type situations.
Last outing was not a good one for Torres against Pittsburgh. He worked an inning and a third, gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts in that ball game in an inning and a third. Their bullpen lost all 3 games against the Pirates in that series prior to coming to Baltimore. Urrutia will stand in. Bottom of the 9th inning. Orioles need 1 to put it away. Urrutia will take the pitch, and it is there for a strike. Urrutia is 0 for 3. Kadire stays in the ball game in left field after pinch hitting. Uribe in at third again, taking away the bunt. Pitch will miss away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Torres. Nail biter here in the bottom of the 9th inning. 1-1 delivery. Mets bullpen ranked 3rd in ERA. They've given up the fewest hits per 9 innings of any bullpen in the National League, and the 2nd fewest home runs. Not a big strikeout group, but to put the ball in play, defense picks them up. Defense is 4th overall in the National League, so it's been pretty good. 1-2 delivery on the way. Urrutia waiting on that one, fouls it back.
Curveball there, backdoor piece. The true mix to the left-handed hitters from Torres. Rudy has already seen all of his offerings: a 4-seam fastball, the cutter, and then the curve. Syndergaard coming back out to enjoy the end of this ball game.
That one to left field. Will it be the end of the ball game? Urrutia back. Hey, goodbye, home run! A walk-off homer. Henry Urrutia, and the Orioles win it 5-4.
Exciting baseball here. The Orioles have been playing on this homestand once again. Come from behind victory. Urrutia, the hero tonight.
How about that for your first home run? Think you'll forget that one?
That's tremendous right there.
Number 1, Henry Urrutia, and the Orioles take a 5-4 victory. First man up in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Urrutia had himself a nice time in AAA, put up some better power numbers, and his time in the major league level, a hard time turning on the ball. Well, there didn't turn on it either, but got the arms extended. A huge walk-off home run, and handshakes for everyone. Take a look at this swing. The fastball up and out, short to it, long through it. This ball is hammered the other way. Orioles bench went crazy here. Take a look at Urrutia's swing. A front foot load, and off it goes. Great leverage from the big man. And Urrutia, first major league home run, walk-off homer, as the Orioles continue to push for the postseason.
He makes Britain the winner 4-0. Torres takes a loss 4-5. Henry Urrutia, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a hit. You won't forget your first home run, will you?
Wow. Unbelievable. I'm really excited right now.
I can understand that. Take a breath. When you came to the plate, you're the first hitter up, tie game, 9th inning. What are you looking for? What are you trying to get done?
Well, I was waiting for a good pitch, make a good swing, but I was thinking and I need a bat for me.
Henry, you've been working hard, man. You had the setback with the injury. You had a great year in AAA this year, and now you're about to get the pie, baby.
You notice how Adam Jones has improved his manners? He took the headset off, gently removed it, and then whacked him in the face with the pie.
So, Henry, okay, back to the question. First of all, what flavor pie did you get?
Whatever, I don't care.
Okay, secondly, no, you had a great year in AAA. Anything you worked on specifically before this opportunity in the big leagues?
Well, it's a war hard. I was waiting for this moment for do this here, and I'm really happy. The work in AAA make a result. Thank you.
We're going to let you go. Enjoy the pie. Enjoy the home run, #1 of your career. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry for my English. It's not very well, but I'm trying it.
Your English is fine. Your English is absolutely fine.
Thank you so much.
And your home run is even better.
Even better, yeah.
Now watch Adam, the delicate man. Headset gently removed. Pie slammed into his face.
I love it.
And there is the way you do it at the major league level. All right, the Orioles get a big win. Join us again tomorrow as the Twins are in town for 4. Miguel Gonzalez takes them out against Tyler Duffy. Our coverage massin 6:30 O's Extra, presented by Southwest, followed by game coverage at 7. This has been a Massin presentation. O's Extra, a very happy recap presented by PNC is coming up right now. Tom and Rick are standing by. For Mike Bordick and all of our crew, and especially for Henry Urrutia, who gets the game winner and a fine tasting pie. Adieu, adieu.